Hey, Book Crows! I'm Beryl. I'll be your host today and joined by my wonderful forever co host, Thyme.
Hello.
Today we will be
I,
discussing Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu. No, that was wrong. By Imani Erriu. That one was right. Erriu.
Erriu?
It's spelled Erriu. I looked up a interview on the internet to figure out how the interviewer pronounced it and figured that
Oh,
would be the closest I could find.
that's fair. I'm gonna have to do that for Fate Be Changed because I don't know how to pronounce some words that I'm going to have to say.
Good luck. You're better with Irish than Scottish.
Well, yeah. I'm also going to delve into some of the history stuff, which is going to be fun. And mind you, that started because they kept like interchanging words, and I kept getting annoyed as shit. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to look into the history of this. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to look into more history because I'm also like, they're referencing specific areas. So where is the specific area in Scotland? Okay, where was the original movie based? On which time period? Because what time period are we? We're in fantasy Scotland. That's a wide fantasy.
Fam, this is why you can't say fantasy blank 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 and then also like try to put real world stuff in there. Like you can't. You
Yeah.
have to pick one or the other. Pick one or the other.
Yeah. There was even, like, for the movie, they actually tried really hard. From what I found, I literally found an article that's like 21 pages on how historically accurate it is. Mind you, they did not mention the one gripe I have, okay, which I'll get into in the actual episode. But the one thing that a historian mentioned was they fucked up on like the hair covering piece for Merida, which is 14th to 13th century, and this is 9th to 12th century.
I could tell you that.
And yeah, and mind you, the way that fashion historically works is there is a period in time where it is still the old fashion for a while until the new one picks up.
Yes.
I'm gonna annoy a lot of people with
No. Do
some
it.
historical facts in that episode.
Do it, dude. That's our next episode, right?
Yes, the next
The
episode.
next episode. I was supposed to ask you what books have you picked up yet recently, and what are you reading? But I think we know
Yeah,
what you're reading.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm currently reading Fate to Change. I just finished Anne Frank, a biography, which is really good. It's the updated one with the newer material that was done in 2013. I also listen to audiobooks all the time, so there's that. I finished for the third time The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William L. Shire, which, while it is a great resource, beware, he is homophobic. Well, was. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
But another good one is The Last Secret of the Secret Annex by Joop van Vikvaskeju. I always pronounce that wrong because of my dyslexia.
Valid. And also, it's
The
not like
last
it's easy.
name, yeah, the last name is spelled IJL, and I always pronounce it Jill.
IJL. Yil?
Yeah.
Yil?
Yeah, I think it's something like I always pronounce it wrong because, yeah, that's also
Yeah.
why I have such a hard time learning languages in the first
I know. I get
place.
you. Did you buy any books recently, or have you just been reading? Because you read a lot. You read more than I do.
Technically, yes. Let me go grab them.
Ooh.
This comes with a backstory, okay?
Oh.
Hey, Dolly, will you bring me the receipts from the bookstore?
Oh.
You're laughing at me.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
So, you kind of know this a bit, but my bookstore in town that recently opened last year, they now accept store credit. So, I was able to give them 20 books, two of which were written in.
That's a lawn receipt.
Well, it's 20 items, and I got $92 in store credit, which I was very happy about. And then I got these three books, so I only had to pay $20.47 because I used up the $92 in credit. But they're collector's editions of what is possibly a bad book. I've heard it. I've heard mixed things on this series.
Is that?
The
Oh
first
my
one
god,
is
it is.
yes, it's the Light Lark books.
Okay, fun fact, I also own them because I wanted to do market research onto what's going on with romantasy and book talk, and I haven't read them yet.
The art's so pretty.
The art is pretty. My goodness.
Like, look at that shit.
The difference is that you have the fancy ones, and I have the normal ones.
Yeah, it's very ACOTAR coded in a way. So I got Lightlark, and then book 2 is Nightbane.
You know there's 4 books now, right?
Yes, I know. Super fucking pretty specialty collector's editions of the first 2 books.
I hope that artist gets paid a fat check.
And then I got the Lightlark Dueling Crowns edition, because I kept looking at it and it looked pretty.
Hell yeah. We are book crows.
Okay, this is one side. Ooh. Yes, I know his head's upside down. I don't give a shit. And this is the other side.
Let them be upside down. Ooh, the sprayed edge is nice.
Yeah. And again, very beautiful artwork.
That artist deserves a fat paycheck.
Let me see if I can find the artist name.
I'll be honest, book crows. I oftentimes buy books because the fan art or the artist just makes good art.
Okay. So it says book design by Deanna Micah Fleming, case and interior illustrations by Carla Ortega.
Okay.
So Carla Ortega, beautiful art.
I do actually follow her on social media.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I always forget how I'm supposed to put this book in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the book actually goes in backwards because of the pretty spine and their faces. Mind you, this motherfucker is like peeping out like a creeper. He's like, hello, I'm here.
It is just like... oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how well I like this versus ACOTAR, because it does remind me a little bit of that, you know, with the dark versus, you know, the light. But one's actually like a sun god.
Can we just call it Star Wars? Star Wars fan fiction and romantasy section. Is that not what this is? You can never make a dark versus light. Well, you can actually. This book is going to go into it. But like most of the time when you do a dark versus light theme in your books, you are just like it's Star Wars at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I also both hate and love the dark versus light motifs in books. I think they can be done so beautiful. Same in, you know, visual media like movies. But there are a lot of connotations to them when it comes to the light side is this. I know you're shoving the book at. You're like, hello, book.
Yeah, it is
called Heavenly Bodies.
It is, and it is dark versus light at times.
But there's the connotations with things like religion, you know, purity versus sinful, good versus evil, things like that. Just once, I would love for the quote-unquote dark side to be the one that's actually not evil.
I think I've seen it once where the dark side was the one that wasn't evil, but I'm gonna say it. Star Wars actually did kind of do it right because the Jedi Order was evil. The Jedi Order just believed that they weren't, and both sides were dark.
I got this.
Oh my god!
I will quote the best thing from the Jedi Path Handbook. That is literally just the best way of saying that exact thing. Also, fucking love all of their notes. This is the blacked out version that's like the Epstein files right now. Hold on, where is it? That's Luke. That's that one person. My college roommate is why I got into Star Wars really hard in college, because they loved Star Wars so much. They took a Asian culture history class thing. I don't remember why they took it. It was one of their electives. Remind you, this is a forensics major. So they had to get a book that was like the samurai path handbook, and we're reading it like this is literally the Jedi handbook. yeah.
Like so much of Star Wars is just stolen from East Asian, and not just East Asian, just like everywhere in Asia. There's some stuff that's like Hindi in there. It just steals from Asian mythology in a general, and like conglomerates it and tries to make it Western. But like there are moments within Star Wars that I really respect writing wise, and other moments where I'm like, really. But, you know, George Lucas is just, was best when he was married to his ex-wife.
I mean, at least he was willing to admit that he based it off of that, and...
Not all the time.
Not all the time, yeah.
It's definitely that 70s Chinese mysticism, because, like, you know how now everybody's obsessed with Korea, and before it was everybody was obsessed with Japan, and before that everybody was obsessed with China, you know. Western culture, and I say Western, I hate calling it Western because it's really just European Central culture, but like it's what our culture does continuously.
Mind you, there are annotations throughout this whole thing. I actually have the whole collection of these books. But essentially, the quote's from Dooku, and it's literally talking about how the problem with the Jedi is literally Yoda.
The problem with the Jedi is that the Force has this incredible focus on balancing light and dark, and the Jedi are working to specifically stamp out the darkness. Like, they're completely ignoring the fact that there has to be a balance, and they're just getting rid of all Dark Force users and collecting all of the Light Force users and grooming them from a young age. Like, not Light Force. They're collecting all of the Force users who are very young and grooming them from a young age to only be Light users. That is a cult. They are the reason why the Jedi Order fell, because in order to balance out the fact that the Jedi Order were all light users and there were way too many light users versus dark users, there had to be a dark user that was so powerful to defeat all of them. It's literally just written in the rules of the universe why it happened.
Now, mind you, there's a few other things. Don't forget that the naughty kids were sent to the farms.
True.
Which people tend to ignore. But also, they got way too into... Like, these were supposed to be peacekeepers.
Yeah.
Like, they were supposed to keep the peace and all this fun shit. But meanwhile, they're kidnapping children. Mm-hmm. Indoctrinating them. Not giving them any sort of therapy. Like, by God, I'm gonna do... When I go and I read the Star Wars books, you will get my 10-page annotated analysis of why Anakin is actually a very complex, psychologically sound character, and why Hayden Christensen was perfect in his acting. But also, you will get my 5-page annotated paper on why the fuck did Padme fall in love with Anakin when Obi-Wan Kenobi was right there.
10 out of 10, no notes. I'm gonna say it. Everybody's gonna disagree with me for a hot second, but age thing. Reminder that the actors at the time, Natalie Portman was like 16, and the actor for the first episode, is it still Hayden Christensen in the first episode? When Anakin,
no, okay, there was a small child.
Okay, he's 13. That actor was 13 in that episode.
He does he have that condition that Thomas Brody Sangster has?
I don't know, but he's 13. Like, the age difference is only 3 years. I'm still judging her, because, like, what 16-year-old looks at a 13-year-old and is like, ooh, haha. But, like...
Mind you, she was not attracted to Anakin then.
True.
But she knew him as a child, and then later decided, that one.
Once again, 3-year age difference.
Grooming.
3-year age difference.
I don't care if it's a 3-year age difference. It's grooming.
It is, and to a certain degree. What I have a problem with is, and the reason why I'm agreeing with the grooming is because she has the power in the sense of she is a political figure. Mm-hmm. That's the grooming part of it.
Not only that, he looks at her as a savior.
Yeah.
There's a power imbalance from the fact that he looks at her as his savior.
Yes, and there we go. That is the standard issue there. Are you still looking for the Count Dooku coat? Honestly, we love Count Dooku in this house.
We do. The fact that nobody listened to... Okay, I'm gonna say it. Count Dooku is the Elrond of Star Wars, because the entire time he's spitting out facts and truth, and everyone ignores the shit out of him.
Yeah, okay. I'm down.
The entire time, and mind you, I can't remember how much he is like this in the books, because it's been a hot minute since I reread Lord of the Rings, but especially in the movies, the entire time, Elrond's just spitting out facts, and no one's listening to him.
Yeah. I think the more interesting part of the Force is when you're looking at it, people call it light and dark, and in the original extended lore books that are back from like a long time ago before George Lucas started okaying everything, there were like gray force users out in the universe outside the edge of the galaxy. I do want to point out that we call it light versus dark because that's what the Jedi call it. A more accurate description would be emotion versus logic.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we have this point where logic is considering itself the light and emotion the dark. I feel like that gives you a better metaphor for what's going on with this force as a whole.
Well, on top of that, it once again just heightens in on, oh, people can't have emotions. They can't trust their emotions, which is common in media and just needs therapy. Everyone needs therapy.
A reminder that there is logic behind emotions. And you should trust some of your emotions. You should trust a lot of your emotions. But there is logic to emotions, and do not deny yourself the beauty that is the full range of emotions that life gives you.
Yeah, and I think in the newer material, they've said that gray force users are not canon, but nobody listens to you, Disney. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no. Let me have my great four. Wow. Let me have my gray force users. Please.
Yeah. For some reason, I am not finding it. You know what? That's fine.
Also, like, isn't Ahsoka just a gray force user in some capacity?
To me, yes.
Yeah, Ahsoka's just a gray force user. Disney needs to shut the fuck up about Star Wars for a hot second. It might not be Disney. It might be one of the directors that they were working with that got pissy and decided that they would determine what the thing is, and Disney's just letting the directors say what the directors want. I should figure out who exactly is saying what.
That'd be nice.
It's too hard when there's too much Star Wars stuff to keep track of when Disney's just pumping it out all the time.
Yeah, to be fair, they're why I got so tired of not only Star Wars, but also Marvel. There's just too much.
I think I should point out, my brother, major Star Wars head growing up. As soon as Disney released the first movie and he watched it, fell off. Like, my brother, probably some form of autism, loved Star Wars so much, stopped when Disney released the first one. I mean, he's still seen all the Star Wars movies, and he has very in-depth opinions of all of the Star Wars movies, especially the Disney ones. But, it is what it is.
Okay, you know what? I can't find it in the book because, for some reason, I can't find it, so I'm just gonna Google it. Oh, maybe it's not in this book then. It must be in a different one. Okay, because it's like the chapter head. Unless it is in this, and I just can't find it, but it's not in the handwriting. The Jedi Order's problem is Yoda. No being can wield that kind of power for centuries without being complacent at best or corrupt at worst. He has no idea that it's overtaken him. He no longer sees all the little cumulative evils that the Republic tolerates and fosters, from slavery to endless wars, and he never asks, why are we not acting to stop this? Live alongside corruption for too long, and you no longer notice the stench. The Jedi cannot help the slaves of Tatooine, but they can help the slave masters.
Yeah. Accurate.
There we go. Finally, I found the quote. It's not from this book. That's why I couldn't find it.
Count Dooku was based.
I remember seeing that quote, though.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember all of Count Dooku's quotes, so I can't really call him based, even though I just called him based. But, like, he has some pretty based thoughts at times.
Also, my favorite thing is the scene where, like, he literally has Obi-Wan just chilling because he arrested Obi-Wan, you know? Mm-hmm. And he just tells him the truth, and Obi-Wan's like, no.
Accurate.
Obi-Wan's like, accurate, no.
Oh my god.
It's just so fucking funny. The motherfucker never lied. And Obi-Wan was like, no. I don't believe you because you're a Sith.
It's almost as though the Jedi are a cult.
Anyway, tell me about this light versus dark motif in this book. Also, isn't that book 1?
This is book 1. I didn't realize book 2 is already out, and I don't know if I'm going to read book 2 or not. I'm half tempted to. But we'll get into this. So, the light versus dark motif is a cop-out. I'm telling you that right now. It's not real. because it's another one of those, it requires balances, and it's kind of like the veil in front of everything that's hiding what's actually going on. Regardless, as always, I start my review with a little bit of world building, because that's how I do it, but except this time it is actually a little bit, because first of all, this book drops us straight into the action.
Okay.
You'll find out soon, there's no prologue. Instead of a prologue, we get a map, which looks nothing like anywhere in the world that we know.
Hold on. That map not only has a moon and star, but the place is called Celestia.
It's called Celestia. Fun fact, there's no moon or sun in the goddamn sky.
All I'm thinking about now is
My Little
Princess Celestia.
Yeah.
And why isn't she a queen?
So, yeah, she is a queen. Princess means queen in My Little Pony. We're just gonna...
It does.
There are 12 countries, and they all have names that sound very familiar. They're going to be names that range anywhere from Greek to Roman names. We got, like, Neptuna, but we also have Aphrodite. But, like, Neptuna, obviously Neptune, Aphrodite. And then one of these countries is called Helios, and then there's Asteria, excuse me. But yeah, there are 12 kingdoms. And then the next thing that we get past that is that we get this little star chart.
Okay.
So for each kingdom, there is a star. A star, the stars, are gods who we can correlate to our 12 zodiac signs that we know. And each god has been said to give their people within their realms 3 different powers. Most people only have 1 power, but some people have multiple powers. So each person of each realm is born with 1 to 3 powers. So we're going to be following around 2 characters, but we're just going to start. So we start with our leading lady, Princess Ilana of Asteria, tied up in transit to her enemy kingdom of Helios. You're processing the information.
This is going to be exhausting in the names, isn't it?
It is a little exhausting in the names, but by the time that I got to the end, I accepted it. Because it does, like, okay. I honestly, normally, I find it really frustrating when they use, like, real-world names so blatantly like this. That being said, I've done it in the past before, so I am a hypocrite.
Yeah, fair.
But I did find, there comes a point in the story where I was like, oh, okay, that's why the names are like that. So you gotta bear with me.
So, I do have one question. Do they mix the Greek and the Roman names?
Yes. There's even Spanish names in here.
Okay.
Each culture is very notably different. For a hot second, we met a pirate king later in the book whose names are not Greek, Roman, or Spanish, but he's like the king of Neptuna. You're just going to have to put up with the names being a little exhausting. Some of them are less exhausting than others. I will tell you that right now, okay? Like, Ilana is a real name. We just have to put up with the fact that the names of the gods and the names of the kingdoms are a little exhausting. But it works out in the end. I'll give you that note.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, having a bunch of tragedy names, having a bunch of white boy Hayden, Graydon, O'Caden names, or having obviously mythological god names. It's a really hard toss-up.
I find it more annoying that the kingdom's name is... Okay. First of all, Asteria is not a bad kingdom name. It's Aster with an I-A at the end. So the flower Ia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then their patron god, who I didn't put in my notes, but the god of fate, who has been asleep for thousands of years and nobody's met her. Their patron, star. It's very important that I say star instead of gods, because that's what this book constantly calls them, is that they call them the stars.
Is it Asteria or... Oh, no, yeah, it is Asteria, because it's not an A. Sorry, for me, I keep wanting to say Astaria, because it just sounds better out of my mouth.
You're valid. Their patron star is Piscea. You're just gonna have to roll with it.
Can we stop adding Ia on the end of everything, please?
It might be Piscea. Oh, no, it does have a pronunciation guide. It is, in fact, Piscea. Except instead of an I, it's an E, so it's like, just take Pisces and replace the IS with an A. There you go, Piscea.
Can we...
I agree. I did that when I was like 14. We do have to live with it.
I'm 14 and this is deep.
What is Aphrodite? Is it actually pronounced Aphrodite? I was just pronouncing it Aphrodite.
How's it spelled?
It's Aphrodite. It's Afro, like, from Aphrodite, Dea, but it doesn't have a pronunciation guide for Aphrodite, so I'm pronouncing it Aphrodite. Yeah?
Okay, I googled this. Aphrodite is from Ocean of Memories.
Okay.
On the Shining Nikki Wiki, Aphrodite is a minor goddess in Shining Nikki. She is the goddess of love in Mirrorland.
In Shining Nikki?
Shining Nikki. I'm gonna guess it's an anime.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. But yes, our leading lady, Princess Alana of Asteria. She is tied up on her way to the enemy kingdom because she has been abducted. We know that she has just escaped a ball where everyone but her died. But we will be circling back to what happened at that ball in more details later because it's kind of hidden from us what happens at that ball. Now, she is scared because she is from the Kingdom of Darkness, Asteria, and many years ago, the Kingdom of Light, Helios, had declared war, a very brutal war on darkness.
Why is Asteria the Kingdom of Dark?
I don't know if this person knows what asters are.
Oh, Asteria is a Greek Titan goddess of falling stars and nighttime, known as the Starry One.
Okay. Remember, Asteria's patron star is Pycea, who has been asleep for thousands of years.
Ah, she's also the mother of Hecate.
Oh, that's
dope.
Cool. I mean, the Titans would be the mother of some kind of god. It's so funny to me that what they've done with all the rest of the names that are very, mythological and go like, oh, Aphrodite, Asteria, and Asteria hasn't been changed at all, but most people don't know what who Asteria is. But then we get Helios.
Why didn't they change Aphrodite to the original version?
Great question.
Because there's a pre-Aphrodite.
I know. I'm just going to assume that this person didn't do that much research.
Well, continue to woo me with this story of ambiguous naming.
So, obviously, she's being tied up. She's being taken to the enemy kingdom. This kingdom has been at war with her kingdom for a while. And she's trying to escape. And we get to see her use 2 of her powers in the first few chapters. Because, again, every person from every kingdom, there are 3 powers distributed to each kingdom. Her powers being illusions and dreamwalking are the 2 that we get to see. In fact, we were first introduced with her waking up from dreamwalking because she was knocked out and woke up tied up. And she also has shadow magic, but is struggling to call upon that for years now. Yes, this is the second Beryl episode in a row where we get to say that there was a shadow mommy. Okay,
but also shadow magic is so ambiguous.
It is. I'm not gonna... we just have to accept it.
For some reason, we've all agreed that shadow daddies can wield shadows, make themselves invisible, but their shadows will also somehow material enough to kill or strangle people or move things and be shields.
You're dead on accurate with what we're expecting from shadow magic. At least the light magic in this world functions the same way as shadow magic. So I'm just
You know who had the most original shadow magic?
Shikamaru. True.
Can we just get some more Shikamaru? He was the original shadow daddy.
See,
in popular media.
Whenever I think of shadow magic versus light magic, I think of Sasame's Magical Girls Club. Yeah, you're like, what the fuck are you saying? Of course I know this one. But Sasame Magical Girls Club is based off of another anime that's based off of another anime that's based off of a manga. Where all of the characters are based off of this one ecchi harem anime from Once Upon a Time back in the day, but now we get to remove the guy and they're all girls and they're going through elementary school while being turned into magical girls.
It concerns me that they're in elementary school.
Hey, there is no sexualization in this version. Sasame's Magical Girls Club.
Thank God.
I do not remember the sexualization if there is sexualization, though I do remember lesbian. So I remember there were lesbians in there. And autistic representation.
Elementary school.
They are in elementary school. Also autistic representation.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that air magic user reading a book and being monotone and completely oblivious to what's going on and just really excited to read her books. And oh yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah. Sasame's Magical Girls Club lives in my head rent-free. But that's also one where light magic and dark magic are being used. And it kind of sets up something similar to what we're seeing in these Shadow Daddy, Shadow Mommy books.
I love how fantasy, fantasy is not the right way. Romantasy has been dominated recently by shadow daddies and, for lack of a better term, golden retriever boys that for some reason we all hate. When what you really need is someone who looks like a shadow daddy but is a golden retriever boy, like my husband. But before that, it was vampires and werewolves for a while. Mm-hmm. But now, for some reason, it's not romantasy, but all books are now about hockey.
You know,
and as someone who loves hockey, I'm upset.
I feel it. Thyme and I grew up where there was a lot of hockey going on. And, yeah.
Like, the only appropriate hockey-related media that is not regular hockey that you're watching in person because TV hockey sucks ass is the Mighty Ducks, okay? That dates me so hard. I grew up with that VHS tape.
I'm having some strong feelings on Heated Rivalry, but like
I've never read it, or seen it.
Honestly, it's gorgeous. And it was done on a really cheap budget. So like I'm gonna respect it. I just also have some questions.
Mind you, there's no romance in Mighty Ducks.
Yes. Yes.
It just has Emilio Estevez. Back when he wasn't problematic. And also no one really knew he was related to Charlie Sheen.
Valid. I forgot to give a warning, by the way, that this book is really dense and I will be skipping over a lot of details.
Got it. Okay, let's get back to the book.
Like, there's a lot of things that
How long is this script?
4 pages, because I really cut down some of the stuff that wasn't necessary. But even then, the necessary stuff still had details that would like find its way back around to the necessary stuff. Like, I pared down a lot. And you're going to be confused at moments because I pared down so much. A lot of stuff happens in this book. So much stuff happens in this book. But there's a few times where I'm like this whole thing where she's trying to escape is longer than it sounds like.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's like...
To be fair, when you said she was waking up, tied up, going to the enemy, all I thought was the opening of Skyrim.
Honestly, you're accurate in that thought process.
Ah, you're finally awake?
Basically, like, you're not wrong. Her family crest is a dragon, so there's a lot of talks about how she is a dragon. Which I hope is payoff later, for the record.
She is the fish. She is the fish! This was a magic cart book all along!
Yes! Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a twist like that in this long run, but I want you to hold your beliefs on her secretly being something else close to your heart. Okay? Okay. So she makes her attempt to escape, and it almost works. She's running through the city, making her way. She cuts off her dress that is obviously different because in Asteria it's very late medieval era.
Wait, so she's naked now?
No, she's in her undergarments.
Oh, okay.
To give an idea, Asteria is a place that is colder. So they wear more like traditional European clothes and they have more traditional European values. But she's in Helios, which is warmer because I'm sure you can figure out what the...
Sun.
Yeah. So it's warmer. It's described as being hot and dry, but there's also like a lot of green beauty and there's an ocean right there. So I'm going to imagine that it is Iran.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Though it might be closer to Spain, considering that the names are often Spanish. So it could also be Morocco for all I fucking know.
Give me a name.
Oh, Fernando and like Alonso. Like you don't need to give you a name for that one.
I love how the first thing that popped up was a French rapper. Spanish and Italian.
Yeah, okay. But then there's also Lorenzo, which is Spanish. Leonardo. We have...
Leonardo.
That's another Italian-Spanish name. And again, Lorenzo is an Italian-Spanish name. And then there's Idris.
Hilarious. Apparently, it's Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese.
That makes sense. I mean, Portuguese isn't that different from the other two.
There also is some Germanic things in there.
That makes sense. Can you look up two different ones for me then? Because there are two names that I didn't recognize where they're from.
Spell.
Idris.
That's it?
Yes.
Ah! Arabic. Okay. Islamic region.
Okay. That is the name of the king of Helios.
Okay.
And then the other name...
So Iran's not too far off then.
Yeah. The other name, by the way, Isra.
Isra.
I've been calling her
also
Isra.
Arabic.
Okay. I've been calling her Isra.
Meaning nocturnal journey.
Interesting. But yeah, so
Arabic name given to boys and girls. Ah, it's also a title chapter in the Quran.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Journey of the Night.
Well,
also such a beautiful name. If there is an H, it can be in Spanish origin as a boy's name for night travel. It is a gender neutral... Isra, which is spelled without the H, is a gender-neutral Muslim name.
Okay. That's fun. Yeah.
From the Semitic language spoken in the Middle East.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think Iran's a pretty good way of saying it.
I've just been imagining it's Iran this whole time. It's, like, gorgeous. There's tons of beautiful landscapes. I'm just imagining it's Iran.
Also, for anyone that is confused, it is not just a giant desert.
Yes, Iran is actually just one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Like, I kind of want to go visit Iran just to see it. Just to see the nature. The painted mountains of Iran are really gorgeous.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at this palace, the Golestan Palace. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Looks so pretty. Mm-hmm. Oh.
So yeah, she almost makes out of the escape attempt. She's like running through the city. I do want to point out that they are taking some creative liberties with the cultures. And there's definitely some mysticism around people of color and sexualization of people of color. Oh. But everybody has magic. Like, every person in this world has magic, and the magic just interacts differently based off of different cultures. Mm-hmm. There is going to be moments where I'm going to be like, and we're going to move past that after I say what I'm saying, because even though I'm imagining Iran, I know that Iran does not have this culture whatsoever. Just imagine the beauty of Iran, and then none of the culture. Are we on the same page? Cool.
Hold on, I want to look up the author really quick, just because I'm curious.
I know she's a person of color, which is why I'm moving past.
Nationality British.
Yeah. You look at her picture, though, you can...
Manchester Metropolitan University, where she received a bachelor's degree. I'm looking on Penguin Random House.
Yeah. Like, do I have her... Is her author's photo here?
Yeah, she's definitely tan. I wonder if it's a few generations removed.
Yeah. And, you know... TikTok famous is what got her book to be picked up by a publisher. It's also, I thought it was going to be a 3-book series. Apparently the publisher picked her up for a 5-book series, so I guess I'm in for a long run.
Yeah, she's definitely British, though.
Yeah.
Like, nothing, her ethnicity is not publicly disclosed.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna guess it's a few generations removed.
Yes. Just imagine the beauty of Iran and none of the culture, and we're going to ignore the fact that there is there's a little bit of weird sexualization about the fact that all of the people of color tend to come from cultures that love sex for some reason. We're just going to move past that. I can ignore it for the Aphrodite region, for the record, because Aphrodite being, you know what their god is. Their god is the god of lust. I can ignore it for that.
I'm going to put a pin in that before I go on a rant about Aphrodite. Anyone who puts the Myers-Briggs personality test in their bio is not someone I want to be friends with.
I agree with that sentiment. Oh my goodness. But we march forward.
March forward, yes.
Yes. Just realize that this is a white woman in this story wearing a lot of revealing clothes.
It's just a Tuesday night.
Yeah. But in this case, she is shedding her... typical European clothes to run through the city in more easier. To run through the city easier. And unfortunately, she almost gets away and then runs into a different set of guards that try to take advantage of her in this moment. She stands her own.
Wait, they try to assault her?
Yes. There is an almost sexual assault scene off the bat. They do not get very far.
I'm torn with that because while I love seeing the representation that guards are shit, I am not a very big fan of some groups.
Yes.
To put that in the nicest way possible, without putting a target on my back. I don't like the immediate implication of it being sexual assault for two reasons. Number one, there are some books that use that as a character development trait. I'm looking at you, Outlander. To prolong the story and progress or whatever. Was there a trigger warning, by the way?
There was no trigger warning. When I said they did not get very far, I genuinely mean, like, they ripped her skirt, and then they did not get much farther than that.
Okay. The other thing I don't like is you very obviously said that she's a white woman, and this is a place where they're not as white.
Yes.
I don't like that.
I agree. I do want to point out
uncomfy.
This plot point does come back around. I was actually going to completely skip this plot point until it came back around later in the story.
Does she try to assault a man?
No, she doesn't, actually. When they try to assault her, she stands her own by using her illusions to create their worst nightmare. She has no clue what the illusions looks like to them. She just knows that it's creating their worst nightmare. And then curses them that they dream of their worst nightmares every time they try to touch another woman in the same way.
You could have done so much better than that. You know? You could have made this more interesting. You could have mocka'd their ass, okay? Yes, I just turned my goddess into a noun. You could have been Maka and literally make it so any time they touch a woman, they have major cramps like you're giving birth. Okay?
Honestly,
you could have metavolstered their ass.
I'm going to let this one slide because of what happens later. Because these guards come back around. Just remember, these guards come back around.
I still don't like that they essentially had people of color assaulting a white woman.
Yes.
For various reasons, historically.
At least they don't mention that she's... Like, the thing that tells you that they're people of color is the fact that, like, the culture is already giving...
Yeah.
What I told you already from the very get-go. But yeah, notably her magic gets drained from doing all the nightmare stuff, and she kind of has, like, by the time that she's done making their nightmares, the original guards that were carrying her around catch up to her, and they're like, okay, well...
So she could have just fucked off after the illusions, but she didn't.
It takes her a bit of time to make the illusions and get all of that up. And by a bit of time, I don't know how much that bit of time is. But whatever it was enough to get the original guards to catch up to her.
Should have just stuck with the illusions, not cursed them, and ran off.
Yeah. I don't know if the curse was real at the end of the day, though. I'm going to tell you that.
Oh, rude.
But she does end up now in the custody of the King of Helios. So, the King of Helios, Idris? I've been pronouncing it Idris. Acknowledges that her entire family died in that ballroom that she was running away from. Remember that I mentioned not too long ago? Yeah. Okay.
So, who's not dead?
Her.
Just her.
Just her. There's a few nobles that weren't in the ballroom, because it was her birthday celebration, for the record. And so she's curious if two specific people survived, because she didn't see them in the ballroom before everything happened. But everyone that was in that ballroom died. She is the only survivor. But only in the ballroom. So if they were elsewhere in the castle, they survived. Now, the King of Helios offers her no sympathy because, they've been at war for a long time and he's the one that started the war. She tells him that if he knows what happened to the ballroom, if he knows what happens to the ballroom, then he already knows that the gods can't kill her. Because what happened was that it wasn't Helios that attacked, it was a god that came down and smote everybody to death in that room.
So she's the special.
Yes, she is the special. I don't think at this point it immediately says which god does it, but we'll get to that. And yeah, he knows. He actually also knows about her lifelong prophecy, that she will fall in love with a star and that it will kill them both.
Yummy.
So he wants to forge her into
Talk about star-crossed lovers.
Yeah, honestly. I'm fine with star-crossed lovers, by the way. I love star-crossed lovers stories. I don't like fated mate stories. I want the fact that I said that I'm fine with star-crossed lover stories and not fated mate stories to be in here right now, and everybody to keep that in mind.
I mean, there is a prophecy. So I'm going to throw out my thoughts already, my pre-thoughts. Either A, she's a god, or B, she's a demigod.
We'll keep moving forward. I mean, I'm at that point. I already made that guess too. I was already on board with that guess. So
why else wouldn't a god be able to kill her?
Yeah.
To indeed be a god.
Yes. Though I do appreciate that even though I saw that she was either a god or a demigod, I saw the twist. I saw that it was a twist. I didn't see the twist working out the way that it did.
Ooh.
So I appreciate that. So Keen of Helios wants to forge her into a weapon. She's not so keen about being used. But she also doesn't have choices, because if she returns home, that means she walks back to that star who wants her dead and just killed everybody. And also, she has no magic. She's in the palace of the enemy kingdom where all the guards are. She's like, I want to go, but I don't really have a chance to go. She ends up sticking around as long as she's training with the Prince of Helios. His name is Lorenzo. Enzo for short. I know, we're having a training sequence with a man. I hate it too.
So when did they fall in love?
Pretty quickly, but they are in denial about it for a very long time. He is not a star. I'm telling you that right now.
Is it a sassy vampire instead?
No.
That's named a
No.
Star Ian? Make this way more interesting.
No, but keep that vampire thought in mind.
Wait, what?
We'll circle back to vampires later.
What? I was making a joke!
I know you said it as a joke. Circle back to that later, bitch. Okay, so Enzo and Alara don't really like each other at first, but it doesn't stop Enzo from immediately flirting with her through his
Of course.
sassiness. He is a very sassy man.
Oh, we love a sassy man.
Honestly, both of them are really sassy with each other. Like, as sassy as he is, she is just as sassy, if not worse, at times. Like, they go back and forth to some crazy extremes, for the record, on the sassiness. Now, to disguise her inside of Helios so that people don't spread a rumor that the princess of the enemy kingdom is in Helios, the king has a worker from Aphrodite within the palace place a glamour over Alara every single day.
Why don't they just make an enchanted item that does it?
Enchanted items are not in any place of this story. So as far as I can tell, magic comes solely from within the person. No magic items.
Okay.
Yeah, until we get to... I guess that's not even enchanted, is it? I don't consider that enchanted.
Suck it, Pandora's box.
Yeah, so this glamourer, because glamouring people with illusions but like not illusions, because illusion magic is different from glamouring magic. The ability to glamour people comes from Aphrodite. It's one of the 3 magics from Aphrodite. But this person is named Marissa. I want to note, I almost cut Marissa being a character until the very end, and I was like, oh, I can't cut Marissa from this. Because there's a lot of times when I'm reviewing these books that I'm like, okay, this character, I can just call them by what they do, and we can move for it. It's spelled like Melissa with an R. I can see you searching something up.
Latin in origin. Of the sea or star of the sea.
That makes sense.
It's a variation of Marius, which is what I literally named a character in my book.
Honestly, like, of all of the obnoxious names, Marissa is not an obnoxious name.
No, Marissa's a good name. I like it.
Marissa's a good name.
Oh, it has a biblical city of Marisha in Judah.
Okay. Interesting. Now, Marissa and Alara quickly become friends.
As one does.
Yeah. Marissa has a side romance with General Leo. Leo, short for Leonardo, who is the person who captured Alara at the beginning and caught up with her after she cursed the trash guards.
Question. What is she doing there?
Which she? Which one?
Marissa. What is she doing there if she's from a different place?
Oh, most of the countries have people who go between their borders. It's just that Alara's kingdom has been shut off, and her parents have purposely shut off their kingdom. So most of the kingdoms have people who move around. But Aphroditeans like to move around a lot, according to the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a pan equivalent in this book? It'd be really interesting.
As far as I know, no. But again, we only met so many of the characters. Also, I didn't.
This is a book that's gonna forget that Aphrodite is a goddess of war, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, no. I would say no.
She's a goddess of way more things.
She's a god. Like, I think they remembered that she's a goddess of war in this one.
Okay.
And if they didn't remember it, they sure as hell got really close to remembering it. Now we go into training, because there's a lot of training in this book. First off, something is up with Alara's magic, and she keeps accidentally turning her illusions into strange white beasts or other things. And to point out something that is super obvious to the reader, but is not obvious at all to Alara, the magic happens when she is interacting with Enzo's magic, and the emotions are very high.
Okay.
Now, notably, it only happens once when training, and it happens so rarely throughout the book that they don't figure out about this emotional magic mixing until it becomes, like, an really important thing later on. So we'll circle back around to that. There's a lot of circling back around to things in this book. Now, she knows why her shadow magic isn't working, but she is lying to Enzo about knowing. So she's telling Enzo that she doesn't know. She does know. Enzo has all 3 magics from his kingdom, just like she has all 3 magics from her kingdom. He has all 3 magics from his. His 3 magics are fire, light, and searing, which I wish searing was like being able to sear something, right? I wish that was
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Searing, being a seer gives you different abilities. It's not very well defined, honestly, between the 2 seers that we interact with in the story. But his seer ability is that he can see through people, basically. He can see their emotions. He can look into their souls. Stronger seers can see various paths of the future and tell prophecies. Alara found out about her prophecy late, even though her parents have known since she was a little baby. And thus she doesn't trust seers at all because of another time the prophecy was told to her later on. This doesn't stop Enzo from taking her to the most powerful seer he knows to get answers on what's wrong with her shadow magic, because, she's been lying to him, and he's like, we gotta figure out what's wrong with your shadow magic. Let's take you to a seer. This seer is Isra. Remember that name that you just said was really pretty? Isra.
Yes.
Isra is half Helion. I don't know how to pronounce the Helios name thing. I'm calling it Helion. Helion? Maybe? It's spelled with an O. So while Isra is a seer, she also has ice magic and the ability to speak with the dead from her other side of her family. That is not from Helios. This is foreshadowing, by the way. Her searing magic... So Isra's searing magic does go awry when she peers into Alara's soul, but she tells Enzo that Alara is the one that needs to tell him what's up with her shadow magic, which, Enzo's like, ugh, god damn it, she's been lying to me, and, leaves to go outside and mess with the horses in a fit of frustration, instead of confronting Alara right then and there.
You think your enemy is going to tell you the truth?
Yeah. Do we consider this a real enemies to lovers?
Okay. I'm going to put it to you this way, okay? Mm-hmm. Do we consider Romeo and Juliet enemies to lovers?
No.
There we go.
Okay.
Just because they're from warring factions does not mean they're enemies to lovers.
I feel that.
They personally do not hate each other, by all means. If they're willing to spar and flirt with each other, they ain't hating each other.
They do step on each other's toes a lot in the story at the beginning, and they get really fucking pissed off with each other. But, later in the story, he tells her that he's liked her and knew that he liked her since, their second interaction. So, I don't know, dudes. I don't consider this enemies to lovers. This is another faux enemies to lovers, where it's more dislike to lovers. Stepping on each other's toes to lovers. So, Isra also tells Alara that her prophecy abilities just told her that she needs Enzo to be able to defeat the King of the Stars. Okay. Mm-hmm. The King of the Stars is the person who killed everybody in her ballroom that day and tried to kill her and failed. Also, Isra is by the way, I know that the prophecy specifically says that is the King of the Stars who you will fall in love with, and thus will kill both of you. Yeah. The prophecy is very specific, that Alara will fall in love with the King of the Stars, and that both of them will die because of it.
Why?
Fate. Well, this whole thing...
Where did this prophecy come from?
Another seer. Actually, I can tell you that because I didn't put it in my goddamn notes, and I kind of just ignored the fact that was a thing. Enzo's mom was a seer. And she got that prophecy first. And then she went to the kingdom, Enzo's mom was a seer. and told her husband. Her husband started making this plan to kidnap Alara. So Enzo's mom went to Alara's parents, told Alara's parents that her husband was planning to kidnap Alara to raise her as a weapon, and Alara's parents were like, "Thank you for telling us. Now you die." And that was the whole catalyst to start the war on darkness.
Well, maybe don't kill someone's wife?
Yeah, maybe don't kill the queen of the enemy
She
nation.
literally was helping you.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But
also, how much do we trust the prophecy?
The prophecy's real.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff in this where even, like, the gods and other things are like, we wish we could tell you more to make the things that we want to work out happen, but we cannot play with fate.
Bullshit.
If we play with fate too much, there will be worse consequences. So we will give you cryptic hints, basically.
Because, whatever.
But the way that they say it is that they literally physically can't. Which I hope there's an explanation for why they physically can't later. But it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to accept the fact that they physically can't. Even though the fact that it was real that they physically can't happens at the end of the book. I'm just going to talk about it right now because you asked the question. The face that you're making.
I have no idea what to think of any of this right now.
Okay. I don't dislike this book, for the record. I just don't know if I want to pick up the second one. Like, was it good enough for me to pick up the second one is really what I'm asking myself. So Enzo's pissed off that Alara's been lying to him, so he saddles her on a horse with him and makes a very convincing threat to both of their lives that if she doesn't tell him why her shadow magic isn't working, he's just going to run the horse off a cliff with both of them on it. Yeah, this works somehow. She actually does crack, and she reveals that when she was younger, one of Enzo's father's guards managed to break into her home, and he tried to kill her via shoving magical light down her throat, and that situation made her so traumatized that she hasn't been able to use her shadow magic since.
What?
Okay. I also said that might work. I'm not a psychology major. That might, basically, the guard that broke in to try and kidnap her, instead of trying to kidnap her, decided he was going to try and kill her, shoved a bunch of light down her throat because he was a light wielder, and then was telling her about how she's so awful because she's a shadow wielder, and that shadow wielders are the scorn of the earth. And she got saved by her best friend and her fiancé back then. But, the words, every time she tried to use her shadow magic, the words and the feeling of the light going down her throat would come back and haunt her from that situation. So it's a form of PTSD, but I'm not sure.
I'm not totally convinced that it would be her own magic she's scared of.
She's not scared of it. It's just that she's not using it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would cause her not to be able to use it.
Yeah.
I understand that mind you, I am not a specialist.
Yeah.
If anything, and this is also coming from someone who has a lot of emotional scarring from words and shit that have been told to me, I don't think one case of them saying that would really be what would do it. If anything, I feel like... Here's what I'm going to say. I actually pulled out my traumatic stress textbook.
Oh?
We're going to give a little bit of a small lesson. Mind you, I am not an expert. I do not have a PhD. I have a bachelor's degree. I am by no means able to treat or console people. I can give my opinions based on my knowledge and my crash course of traumatic PTSD classes that I took.
Yeah.
One of the big things of PTSD is a failure to differentiate the quality of events that have happened and major life stressors. That is one of the big things that comes with PTSD. And it also has to, have a giant impact. Traumatic stressors can be divided into different types. The first are time-limited events like a plane crash, you get sexually assaulted, which are characterized by unpreparedness of the victim and high intensity. By contrast, sequential stressors can have a cumulative effect. These are particularly relevant for emergency service workers and police officers. Finally, there are stressors characterized by long-lasting exposure to danger, which can evoke uncertainty and helplessness. These include combat involving multiple exposures, repeated intrafamily abuse, etc., etc. I'm not 100% sure what she went through would necessarily make it so that she can't do her magic. I'm not convinced of that.
Agreed.
If anything, I feel like she would more so have PTSD related to them breaking in and trying to murder her, and of the light magic, because to me that is a major violation of assault. By shoving the magic inside her body, they essentially raped her.
Yes.
I think that is what would have more stress. I don't think she would be able to trust men, is the main thing.
She does have some extreme discomfort at the beginning with light magic. She genuinely does. I skipped over that, but, like, I agree. I don't think it would actually make her stop being able to use her own magic.
No. If she had an accident involved with her magic, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
A good example is I had a mother who was very critical of my body and said a lot of things about my body. So that has caused me to be extremely self-conscious. And I am by no means a big person. I was 60 pounds in 6th grade. I reached 100 pounds at the end of puberty in 8th grade. And that was when a lot of the comments about my body came in. It caused me to... And mind you, I was also wanting to be a professional dancer at the time. I for some reason, decided modeling might be fun. It caused a lot of stress. It still causes a lot of stress. So for me, it makes sense to be really insecure about myself physically. Now, if for some reason that made it so that I had an aversion to literally anything else,
Yeah.
that'd be a bit weird. Like, if I had magical powers and I suddenly couldn't perform my magical powers because of comments made about my body, that'd be weird.
Yes. I'm with you on this. This is the first, like, minor plot weirdness that I was like, notably, not the worst plot weirdness. Like, most people don't know how PTSD works in the first place.
No.
It struck me as odd, but it is an explanation in some capacity.
I do agree with one person who said that a big reason why people don't take PTSD seriously is because we use the acronym post-traumatic stress disorder versus what we used to call it with soldiers, which was shell-shocked. That has a lot more deep impact. However, that does negate the fact that you can have PTSD from other things.
Yes.
Mind you, PTSD, in order for it to be actually a major thing, mind you, I'm not saying this lightly. Like, one of the big things is it has to interfere with your life. You can have bouts of things like depression. You can have executive dysfunction. But there's a difference between not being able to function and forgetting your keys.
Yes.
Like, in order to have a diagnosis of a psychological disorder, you have to have it impacting your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I get really upset when people go on things like TikTok and they talk about, oh, this is a trait of ADHD, this is a trait of autism, especially when there are people who have Munchausers out there.
Yeah.
That will pick things up because they saw it on social media. But also, we use the word depressed way too much in our society. Depression is a serious mental disorder that impacts your life and your ability to function. It is not, I am sad. It is not, I am grieving. It is, in and of itself, leaving far lasting impacts on your life. And one of the biggest problems I had going to group therapy in college was, and I did not know this, most people can differentiate in their life before and after depression hit.
Mm-hmm.
It is very different when it is all you remember.
Yeah.
But it has to impact your life. In this case, if I am not seeing major impacts in her life with PTSD, I don't believe she has it. But on top of that, I feel like her inability to use shadow magic is a cop-out for them not having to do development of them getting over PTSD.
Yeah. Wait till you figure out how she gets over it.
Mind you, one of the best ways of therapy for PTSD and anxiety disorders alone is exposure therapy.
Yes.
That is the main treatment, is exposure therapy.
Yes. We're going to get to how she gets through this, by the way.
It's not going to be exposure therapy, is it?
No. Kind of, but no. So, training continues. But Alonzo is feeling really bad about the whole shadow magic thing, so he actually asks her to focus on her illusions and dream walking instead, and is like, when you're ready, we'll do shadow magic. We'll work through it. Because he's feeling bad. So we have some flashbacks from Alara that shows off her bond between her childhood friend Sophia and her fiance Lucas's mental downfall. Her childhood friend Sophia still is very close, like not a mental downfall, but Lucas being a mental downfall. As well as a flashback that shows exactly how she is the only one that survived the ballroom thing. We learn through dream walking that Leo became captain of the guard because he impressed Enzo by sneaking into his room and trying to kill him as a child. And so Enzo took him in and was like, this is the only guy who can, like, be close to me on a fight. And then Leo was raised in the palace, but nobody told the king what happened with how Enzo met Leo in the first place. Enzo just, like, pulled some strings as a prince.
What?
Yeah.
That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
It's cute, but it is kind of silly.
Like, hey, you just tried to murder me. Let's be besties.
And he's like 8 years old.
I don't care if he's 8, okay?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
Wait, does she have control over whose dreams she goes in?
She's getting better at it. She gets control of it fully by the time, like, kind of fully, mostly by the time the book ends, but she is growing into it. At the beginning, almost never.
So, in other words, she would be great for espionage.
Yes.
And no one's thinking about it.
Yes. Actually, we get to see some of that later on, but yes. Also, Alara has been reading a book this entire time, and will continue to read this book the entire time, about the myths that their world believes in. And specifically, like, myths that they believe are false, as the creatures in the world don't seem to exist.
Exposition.
It is done very rarely. It like, for an yeah, like, it is not used as, like, a dump of information. It is used as a book that she reads, and then references to several times throughout the series. Like, she's not reading the book and then we get to read the book. She is reading the book, somebody interrupts her while she's reading the book, and then later in a different conversation she talks about something that is in the book.
Does it at least come up naturally?
Yes, I would say it does.
Okay.
Yes. And I want to say, like, they believe that the creatures don't exist because the creatures don't appear to exist. And again, they live in a world where sirens and magic exist, so, like, I can see where that thought process comes from. But keep in mind, they don't think the creatures exist. Keep that in mind. So then we get to Alara coming to the conclusion on how to unlock her shadow magic and how to get past her PTSD. And that is that she wants to have a near-death experience. Yeah. Yeah, I see that face.
Okay. Here's a great time to talk about another part of PTSD.
Okay.
And this is something I learned from my classes. Okay, I had an amazing teacher that I took my traumatic stress class from. Mind you, I chose to take that class. You get a selection of psychology classes, you take them. I took this one because my entire thought process was I was going to be a therapist. Here's the fun thing about PTSD, okay, and anxiety as a whole. So PTSD is an anxiety disorder, and one of the big things with anxiety disorders is the more you try to avoid what you're anxious about, the worse it's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
There's another aspect. If you have the exact same thing or something similar happen, it can re-cause it.
Yeah.
It can make it worse. And a prime example of this is a sexual assault victim finding out they're pregnant.
That makes sense.
Because what it does is it brings it back forth in full severity, because not only did you have to undergo a horrible traumatic experience, but now there is lasting lingering effects, and if you are in a state where you have to carry that child to term, you are forced to not only have the violation in your body longer, you are probably going to be forced to care for said violation in your body for
Yeah.
18 plus years.
Yeah. And Alara's can come to the conclusion that she needs to have another near-death experience.
I understand if they're trying to have some sort of, oh, it's tied to her emotions, but if it's a PTSD thing, and she got this PTSD from a near-death experience,
Yeah.
I honestly think it would just make it worse.
I agree.
On top of that, there's also... Did you ever take any psychology classes?
No. Well,
Okay.
yes and no, but no.
So one of the earliest psychology classes, mind you, I've taken a lot of them. One of the main ones that's talked about, I think, in Intro to Psych, is a very interesting thing where, because your brain will make correlations between two similar events, mind you, correlation does not equal causation, but the brain is silly. So if you get food poisoning from eating tuna that went bad, but your brain associates it with the mayonnaise, your brain will then try to initiate a gag reflex and say no, no, no to mayonnaise all the time because it thinks the mayonnaise is dangerous. That's what this is reminding me of. It's not reminding me of PTSD, it's reminding me of an association to something.
That's fair.
But I still don't see how a near-death experience is going to help.
Yeah, she's convinced that the near-death experience will finally push her over the edge.
I do have one question. How often how long ago was this traumatic experience? How old was she and how old is she now?
Oh, it doesn't give a clear date. She's 23 right now.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly how long ago the near-death experience happened. At least, like, before her teenage years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's a really hard one.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah.
I still don't see how it would be tied to powers, but...
I agree.
Especially since it's not something that's happening often enough where people are constantly, like, shit-talking about her powers.
Yes. Well, she had a lot of trouble with it. Her parents tried to hire tutors to get her to get through it and get her to use her shadow magic again. But it never happened until this boy came around in her life, and she decided that she wanted to get over it finally.
Wouldn't that be nice if that's how things worked?
Yeah, well...
Can we also not have a love fixes everything, falling in love a boy can fix all our problems?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
I still have anxiety, and I'm married.
Yeah. So, she's trying to have a near-death experience with Enzo. She's convinced Enzo to fight her.
Does he shove light down his... Does he shove light down her throat?
No, he doesn't. No. She's convincing him that he needs to try and do his best to almost kill her and then make her believe that he's going to kill her. And he's pussyfooting it because he really doesn't want to kill her and he doesn't want to hurt her.
Why didn't they have Leonardo do this?
He's also a really nice guy. Actually, Leonardo's honestly the nicest guy out of all of these guys.
Okay, but I'm sure the Ninja Turtle would be more likely to actually try and kill her.
Probably. And she goads Enzo with a comment about his mother that makes him so angry that he has a flashbang of light that pushes her off the edge of a cliff. Like a cliff that if she falls, she'll definitely die. And he's so worried about her that he jumps off the cliff, and to her, the thought of both of them dying is what makes her unlock her shadow magic.
I have never been more disappointed in my life.
Okay.
And I read A Court of Thorns and Roses.
I want this to be clear. If I wasn't... For the wonderful listeners, the reason I read this book, the blurb on this book did not make me pick up this book. In fact, I had picked up this book several times because of the pretty cover.
It was fan art, wasn't it?
It was fan art. It was Lotus Bubbles fan art, which Lotus Bubbles is not my friend Lotus, who we've talked about previously in previous episodes. But I'm sure that anybody who consumes books knows of Lotus Bubbles.
They actually did the cover for Holly.
Yes, yes.
They did the art for Holly, which was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Loved it.
So I love Lotus Bubbles, and it was Lotus Bubbles' artwork of the villain, this King of the Stars character, that I was like, oh, I love like an absolutely insane villain character in a fiction book based off of that art. And I'm like, okay, great. So at this point, I'm just sticking around for this villain character, right? Because like this already, Alara didn't interest me from this, and this whole situation was making me go, okay, I just want to see her. Because again, she's supposed to fall in love with the King of Stars, right? 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 Well, I'm like, okay, I'm really interested in seeing how this romance with Enzo works out before she ends up falling in love with the King of Stars. So I'm keeping on track here. Like this book is this book series is labeled all the way through. All of the books that she has talked about, they're all labeled enemies to lovers. So I'm like, okay, this has to be one of those slow burns where they're going to hate each other in book one and then start loving each other later. And we just haven't met him yet. And we're having this fake out character. So that's what's keeping me on this book. We're going to move on, and you're going to think about that for a while now, okay? Okay?
You know, there's times like these when I think about a few things. It's actually a line from a movie or a book or something. I don't remember what it's from. But I got into an argument with my mom and Dalton's grandma. Mm-hmm. And mind you, they were a bottle or two into some wine at the time. And it came out that I am not Christian, and neither is Dalton. Dalton was raised Catholic. I was raised Protestant. It's a match made in hell. But neither of us are religious, so it works perfectly. They started talking about how, oh, well, wouldn't you take a bullet for them, blah, blah. And I'm like, Dalton and I both were like, no. Now, mind you, that sounds really terrible. However, we both have this thought process for a reason. The first thing is, I would not want Dalton to be forced to live without me, because I know how it would affect him. It's also one of the main things that gets me through anytime I'm having really bad thoughts, is how much it would affect him. But the other thing is, dying is easy. People die every day, for one reason or another. Some are in horrific circumstances, which is very, very upsetting. But dying is easy. Living is hard.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People don't understand that continuing to live, whether it's for yourself, for somebody else, anything like that, finding a reason to keep going is one of the hardest things anyone can do. And it's times like these where I think that I have nothing left to live for, because this book,
Okay, let's not be too harsh on the book. I did rate this a 3 ?
I know. That's probably a little dramatic, but when you said that the thought of both of them dying made her unlock her powers, a part of me got really sad.
Yeah.
A part of me got really depressed.
I agree with that sentiment.
Like, again, we need a man to solve our trauma. It's like the ancient Greeks telling people to get pregnant all the time and it'll fix them.
Yeah, that is what they did. Why do you think they had such high mortality rates?
Like, it would have been so much more interesting if her power still did not unlock. And I'm saying unlock because that's probably what the book is saying. Like, did not fix it, and somebody else had to save them.
Honestly, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Now, the romance beats that we are getting through Alara and Enzo are very one-note romantic-y. Everybody knows them. Except for there's no one-bed trope in this book. I hear that it doesn't happen until book 3, and book 3 isn't out yet. So...
This romance still keeps going?
Yes. Again, this is a 5-book deal.
Is he going to become the King of the Stars?
Hold that thought. You're just like...
to be fair, that's what I thought. That's what I thought earlier.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I was on a lot of copium going, like, okay. Yeah, obviously, she's going to be in love with the King of the Stars that everybody knows is the King of the Stars.
Do me a favor. Show me the art that made you want to read this book.
I've shown it to you before.
No, show it to me again, because I don't remember.
Okay.
You didn't reference the book when you showed it to me.
Okay.
My brain's also, lovely pickled and forgets random shit.
It's okay. I have to give me a second to get this pulled up. By the way, we're not even halfway through my shit right now.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it was a dense book. This is the art.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
I thought that was from like a K-pop art.
Nope, that is the villain. It's the villain.
Vampire.
Yeah. This is why I said keep the vampire thought in mind.
How do we have the most boring ass romance I've ever heard in my entire life?
And this guy? Ugh.
And this motherfucker.
Yeah, dude.
Why is this motherfucker not the romantic lead?
Right? Ugh.
He oozes vitality and charisma.
They do not have chemistry when he shows up, but for good reason.
Like, I'd probably let him suck me dry. Mind you, he looks like he should be in a K-pop Demon Hunters band singing Idol or some shit, but he's got the presence. I love the fact that that's also the opposite of how my husband looks.
Yeah, yeah. I want it to be clear that I do just love toxic fictional men, but real men can fuck off. Like, I'm not even attracted to this. Like, I know that Thyme just said he can suck her dry. I'm not attracted to this. I just see fictional toxic men and I'm like, okay, that's a good story.
I'm not attracted to the colors on a paper. I'm just like, yeah, if I met this guy, I'd probably chill with him. I'd probably hang out in a bar.
Oh, I can't wait till you actually get to meet him. Honestly, this guy was the thing keeping me through the fucking book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Astarian vibes. I'd hang out with him.
Yeah.
Mind you, the thing that's compelling about Astarian is his backstory, though.
We do not get this guy's backstory.
We don't get this guy's backstory? That's so boring.
We don't get this guy's backstory yet, but he does survive the book.
So we have boring, privileged Prince Boy.
Yeah.
Who thinks they can fix the Shadow Mommy.
Mm-hmm.
We have who also decided his guard should be the man who tried to murder him when he was 8.
I want to remind you that this, and not man that tried to murder him when he was 8, same age trying to murder him at 8, an 8-year-old trying to murder an 8-year-old. So, a reminder that our Prince character, he's not that boring. He is a sassy motherfucker.
Well, so is Xaden. He's still a weirdo.
That's true. He's a sassy motherfucker. I mean... like, you're basing the fact that this guy, which, by the way, the Lotus Bubble doesn't have art of this guy as far as I know. That's great.
You know, maybe this is another one of those I wouldn't like the female lead, but the male characters are interesting enough.
I mean, I consider Alara and Enzo on exactly the same bubble in the sense of how they act. Like, those two definitely act the same. But that's Alara.
Is that her?
That's her, also drawn by Lotus Bubble.
I'd let her kill me.
Okay, great. Honestly, like, I'm giving Enzo a lot of shit, right? And that's just because I came in here for a different character, right? But he is not a boring character. I just am tired of reading the same romantasy.
Can I just say that the pose on that bottom one where she's got the crown and her arms up, that is the most seductive come get me pose. Like, she should be on a bed with like flower petals and shit.
Oh, that's one of the scene. That's the scene where they almost have sex for the 4th time.
For the 4th time.
Yeah, no, this book edges you. It edges you all the way up until
get it over with or fuck off.
They do have sex in the book. It just takes like 4 times of almost having sex.
Is it the best sex to ever sex?
Let's talk about the sex when we get to the sex.
Okay.
Because I do have thoughts and feelings on it.
Okay.
Why don't we wrap back around?
How does she save them with her shadow magic? Does she, like, grab the ledge or some bullshit? Like a rope?
She creates a shadow version of a winged lion that picks them up and they fly around the bay and the cliff sides on the winged lion and have a cute little moment.
Stupid. Let's move on.
I actually didn't mind it that much.
Could have given herself wings.
Honestly,
or a jetpack.
that would be possible, all things considering. By the end of the book, what she's doing by the end of the book, there's some crazy shit going on. But yeah, they return to the palace post her unlocking her shadow magic, and Enzo's like, okay, I gotta tell my dad that you finally started using your shadow magic again, which reminds Alara that she is being forged into a weapon by the enemy nation, and she's like, well, shit. They got what they wanted, now I have to run away. They're gonna use me. It's only gonna get worse from here.
You forgot?
Yeah, she forgot. She openly is like, I'm so stupid, I forgot. She berates...
Yeah, like, the king is probably overjoyed that his prince boy son is, seducing the weapon that they're wanting.
No. He several times the king comes by and is like, you better not be, like, seducing her. You better remember that we are using
Is this
her.
king a moron?
No, this king
is this king a moron?
Yes.
The Moor?
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, if anything, you would want your son to seduce her because then she's going to be on your side and you're able to use her more.
This man is racist.
Then you can
he hates shadows. He is the king of the light. He hates shadows. He is racist.
Okay, can I just say that it's a bit interesting having a minority character.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I understand that it doesn't say the king's race. The only characters where they explicitly say that somebody is darker skinned are Leo, Enzo, and um, Marissa, who Marissa, by the way, is dark skinned and blonde hair with green eyes.
Okay.
Just think our dance teacher. Except Marissa's also like directly said in her introduction by Alara that Marissa has otherworldly beauty about her. Keep that in mind, by the way.
Yeah, but our dance teacher did fake tans.
Our dance
And she
teacher.
was not that dark.
True. Think her daughter. Well, her daughter also did fake
Okay.
tan. Well, her daughter is also Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, like I know racism goes both ways, but there's a big difference between the fact that in our world, especially not only in, I'm guessing it's also this way in Britain, considering Britain is the birth of the U.S. Mind you, though, the reason the U.S. exists is because a bunch of Puritans thought that England was too raunchy, which is hilarious in my mind.
I know. Religious extremists.
Yeah. From this perspective of especially living in a country and living in a world where people of paler skin are dominant and constantly using race as a way to put people down and say they are lesser and do terrible things and justify a bunch of shit, especially when you think of how the US and other countries treat the Middle East is a big example of this. We need to admit that having those roles reversed in fiction, while it is fiction, is
It's not a good look. It's bad.
yeah, it's a choice. And also there's also a lot to be said for you picking up on the fact that there is some Arabic tones to not only names and but also the place, and having them treat a paler skinned person this way says a lot, especially when you consider how other nations treat Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah. Especially
and
when,
the things that are said about them.
Especially when this woman, like our lead character Lara, one of her first comments when they're like, "You're gonna live here," it was like, "I don't fit in. I have pale skin."
Yeah.
There are slurs that are gone back and forth between the shadow and the light magic people, and I'm gonna say this straight up: like this king, the king of Helios, hates anybody who isn't from Helios, but he tolerates people from Aphrodite because he respects Aphrodite. But he talks a lot of shit about people who like use ice magic and stuff. And to add to that, the shadow people call people who fall in love with light users light sluts, and the light wielders who find out somebody's fallen in love with a shadow user call them like, was it shadow fucker? Something really simple like that, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know how things work in Middle Eastern countries. And coming from the US, I cannot take a lot of what I hear from our government and think seriously with how racist our country is towards Middle Eastern countries. But I do know that there has been a lot of religious extremism over there that has caused a lot of problems, especially for women.
Yeah.
That it's also interesting to choose more Middle Eastern toned people to be treating a woman this way.
Yeah. At least there are women in power in this country. Like, Istra has power.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Yeah. You said everything that needs to be said there.
Do they at least show her having tendencies against the people of Helios?
No. Well, she does, at the beginning, she does hate people who have light magic. And, like, can be a little rough around the edges. But it's nowhere near as bad as what the king of Helios does. Or what people have done to her.
Yeah.
It's rough. I just have to remind myself that, like, the person who wrote this definitely is of a darker skin color than I am.
Yeah, it does make me wonder what culture they grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since you can tell that they have their skin's not crazy dark. They're definitely tanned.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not as European based as you and me in features.
Yeah.
But they were born and raised in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
It does say that. It just doesn't say anything about their parents. So it does make me wonder if there's some internalization there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bedside diagnose somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't. You can't. It just makes me wonder.
Yeah, I agree. I knew that the conversation about how they treat people of color in this book was going to come up, and I just didn't. I'm a little uncomfortable with some of the weird sex stuff that happens throughout the book, in sense of how sex is treated in the culture and all that.
Yeah.
And I felt like the racism was more magic based than skin color based, and I kind of was willfully ignoring it. But you are correct.
Well, I mean, if it's regional, and the fact that most people in a specific region are going to have that specific magic while also having that specific skin tone.
Yeah. Here's the thing, is that by this point, we meet multiple characters whose parents come from other regions, and they end up having other magic. So this is actually somewhat of a plot point, that, like, the magic does mix if you move around.
Interesting.
Yes. Which is foreshadowing. Everything comes back around. Like, almost everything. There's a few moments that don't come back around that I'm like, okay, that's coming back to the next book. So I appreciate that on a storytelling level. So she runs away, obviously. And she's like, okay, I gotta run away. I'm gonna run through the obviously it's a palace. You exit the palace, you go into a city. That's just how palaces work. Hold on.
Did she at least grab a disguise?
She is technically still disguised. But the disguise is going to wear off
like
soon.
New clothes? Like, new clothes? A cloak? Something?
No.
Idiot.
Doesn't matter, because she immediately runs into the Star of Helios, the god. His name is Leon. Okay. Leyon. Leon. Leon immediately knows who she is and flirts with her. Very heavily, by the way. This guy... Later on, he comments that she never came to his temple and that she's the first person who's ever turned him down. Levels of flirting, and heavily flirting. You're looking up where this name comes from, aren't you?
It just means lion.
That makes sense, because the royal crest of...
It's from Sparta.
That makes sense. The royal crest of this royal family that Enzo has a lion on it, and so Enzo is called the Lion of Helios because he, like, is so powerful, and that's what his family crest is.
So according to Parent Patch, it's from Africa.
Okay.
There's also Le Loyon, which is an urban legend of a mysterious figure in Switzerland.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's also a French version is Lion.
Obviously.
It just means lion.
Yeah. That makes sense. He knows who she is. He's flirting with her. He confirms that he likes the idea of her killing his brother, the King of Stars, and thus will not rat out where she is, and is quite happy that she's here being forged as a weapon. He's like, they didn't tell me, but I have no complaints. Rawr. Enzo then catches up to her as she is talking to Leon, and they have a fight about the fact that she's trying to escape. And he's kind of just fed up with her. Like, he thought that they had a great moment there on the back of that shadow lion with wings. And, like, they did have a really cute moment there. And he's just like, okay, you're giving me mixed signals. If you want to go, just go. I won't stop you. What's my dad gonna do? Punish me? Which is exactly
yes.
Like, yes.
Dumbass.
Oh, he knows it 100%. So he
also, wait, he's fucking guilting her into staying.
No, this is genuine. This is not guilt.
No. Hold on. He's still guilting her into staying.
Okay.
Like a manipulative dick. By saying, what's my dad gonna do? Punish me? Like, yeah, he knows that. She knows that. I don't care if it's a moment of heat.
He doesn't actually say that. That is me summarizing words of she's like...
But it's an implication.
She says, like... Of course you're going to take me back to the palace. You're lying. You're not going to let me go. And he's like, I'm not my dad. Just fucking go. Like, my dad can come up with another plan. I don't care.
Okay, but also, if he actually had genuine feelings for her, in my opinion, he would understand her situation and help her leave. He would not be pissed about it.
I feel that.
He would just go with her.
Yeah. He does go with her later, for the record. We're not even halfway through this book.
Like, hello, the number one argument that Dalton and I get into is the fact that his family is a bunch of assholes who treat him like shit. So, also, hi, siblings-in-laws, if you're listening. What's up? I know one of you at least watches my promos.
Oops. We'll let Dalton edit that to his discretion.
But, like, one of our biggest arguments is the fact of how, some of the things that happen in family calls with his family make both of us feel horribly uncomfortable. And the fact that some of the things that his family will say to him definitely upset him horribly. And how much his mom had huge control over his life until he moved. And the fact that he no longer is under her thumb is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But our big argument is the fact that he still lets her influence him a lot. And one of the big ones was an argument where their family ganged up on me because I didn't like something and he didn't say anything.
That's fucked.
And that's one of those things. So I feel like in this case, if he actually gave a shit about her, he would just help her leave and go with her.
Honestly, I feel that.
But he's not doing that.
Again, he does later, but not this moment. But he leaves her alone, and she starts to feel bad, so she goes back to the palace.
Yeah, because he guilted her! He fucking guilted her by being like, I thought we had something!
He was not doing the I thought we had something. Well, he was, but he wasn't. The bigger focus was that, like... What was the big focus?
Read me the lines.
Fuck. Oh, this book is, like, so fucking chunky.
I don't care if this is going to be a 4-hour long recording. I want to know.
This might be a 5-hour long recording at this rate.
You did say this is a dense book.
Yeah. Like, this is how far we are through the fucking book right now.
Seriously?
Yes.
It's like a quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe a third.
No, it's not a third. Look at that again.
Yeah, it's a quarter.
Yeah.
Did we at least get to see the villain? Like the king?
Oh, the King of the Stars? Yes.
Okay, thank God. Is there art for him? Can I see him?
The King of the Stars? I already sent you the art. The King of the Stars.
The vampire guy?
That's the King of the Stars.
The vampire guy is the King of the Stars?
Yes.
For some reason I thought it was a completely different dude.
That is the same dude. He is a vampire dude. Okay.
What are the stars?
They're people who have starlight powers.
So that makes them gods?
Yeah.
This is really confusing.
They're just gods. For now. We'll get more into that later when there's a lore drop later. Enzo yanked Alara along quiet side streets, pulling her along at the pace that she left her panting. Will you stop for a moment? She finally got out. You know, you've done a lot of stupid things in the short time I've known you, Alara, but this trumps them all. He was seething. She could almost imagine flames bursting from him at any moment. You ran. Alara raised her chin. What do you expect? That I would stay like a good little prisoner? I thought what? That things would change after last night? You are Helion, Enzo, and I am Asturian. Our very magics arbor each other. Like night and day, we are always on opposite sides. He blinked, and the fire within him had gone. You're right, he said, and he released her arm. She saw that they reached Isra's house. I don't know what I expected any more from an Asturian. Asturian. You're born to betray. You got what you wanted, and now you run. Indignation rose. Oh, you're so noble, are you? Kidnapping your enemy and forcing her to do your bidding. I am your weapon, and nothing more. Why should I have thought you anything more than a monster you are? Lion. Oh, I'm a monster, am I? He said. Yeah, that's actually how that line went. He said, bracing both hands on the door behind her. She was trapped, his tall frame blocking out the pale streams of the afternoon light. She could feel the heat radiating from his skin, see the bronze that glowed from it. Of course you are. I know of the Borderland fires. If she had been any calmer, perhaps she'd have felt scared. Go on, he hissed, so low it skated over her nerves. I'm skipping a little bit. Women, children, she whispered. Innocents burned to ash. You obliterated a whole village in minutes. Started a fire that raged 2 weeks, cutting off our trade, our food supplies. What else? His black gaze bored into her, his expression closed and drawn. So you don't deny it. Your father may think he had a reason to lay siege to Asteria. But the only people he hurt were innocents, those who played no part in the decisions my parents made, if what you said about my mother and father is even true. Enzo tensed. Your father executed his own damn people if he tried to speak out against the Doro's treatment of my kingdom. He's a tyrant, and you're no lion, just a mutt who's doing his bidding. Careful, princess. Enzo's voice was low and deadly as he dipped his head, his eyes fixed on her. You're very close to committing treason. People have burned for less. She gave a brittle laugh. You sound just like Idris. Luminous flames erupted over Enzo's body. She started, still captured between his arms, but the flames did not sear her skin. They were bitterly icy. Bitingly icy. Blah. And he drew a smile to match. His lips were now centimeters from her. Then run. What? He shot a look of... Enzo shot her a look of disdain as he pushed off the door. I won't stop you. This is what you wanted, isn't it? You got your shadows. Now you want to go home, to your throne, to your kingdom. So I won't stop you. He turned, knocking sharply on Isra's door. What about your father? I'll deal with my father, and you'll get your wish. When you're back on your throne, we'll be enemies once more. Once more? Enzo's jaw clenched. Farewell, Alara.
All right. I actually have a few things to say already. I've heard enough. Yeah. This sounds abusive.
Yeah.
He's using reverse psychology.
Again, it is just another copy-paste book talk romantasy story between the two of them.
He also physically assaulted her by grabbing her arm and forcing her like that. Like, it's not like with me and my husband where I have my arm on his shoulder while we're walking, and he just happens to walk really fast. And I'm like, hey, can you slow down? Like, I have asthma, my dude, and I have, 2 of your steps are, 4 of mine. Please slow the fuck down. He's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then he, slows down. No, he's literally dragging her. But also, the manipulative things that he said, and just the general tone... Yeah. No. He knows what he's doing. It's abusive reverse psychology.
Remember, I saw the vampire dude and was like, oh my god, she's gonna fall for him instead. I'm excited to see that, even though he's clearly a deranged monster. Yeah.
Proceed.
I'm not fighting you on this. Enzo is not the great, amazing love interest that everybody thought he is. I honestly, the thing that was hooking me on this one is the fact that she has this thing saying that she will fall in love with the King of Stars. And I'm like, okay, so we got 2 love interests. Got a little love triangle happening right now. And
it's more of a love corner.
It is more of a love corner. You are correct.
It'd be way more interesting if it was a triangle, though.
It would be interesting if it was a triangle. Ugh. Maybe that's why it takes 5 books to get through this.
You know what? No. You're going to read every single one of these books. Because you know why? This is going to be your 4th wing.
Okay, understood. If she ends up with the King of the Stars at the end, I will be so happy because I just want to see trash men.
Okay, but what if he becomes the King of the Stars by murdering the current one?
I mean the King of the Stars that's the current King of the Stars. I just want that to be straightforward. And I'm saying it for a reason, because I know how this book ends.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyways.
Proceed.
Yeah, so the next day, Leo shows up and is in charge of her training now, because Enzo's like, I don't want to deal with her. We just had a falling out. So Leo, being a general, is a harsher trainer than Enzo ever was. And this passes by quickly as Alara accidentally dreamwalks into Enzo's nightmare where his father is beating him for almost letting Alara escape. Yeah. Alara then helps drive the nightmares away, and they have a heart-to-heart.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
In the dream world. Ends with a kiss on the cheek. I'm not going to tally how many times they've done cute little somethings. This is like cute something like number 3 or 4.
The gall of an asshole.
This is
to be pissed off that his prisoner that he is keeping held captive to be a weapon, essentially a slave, and then having the gall to manipulate her into staying, and then being like, oh my god, your father treated you that way, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Thyme. Thyme, this is going to get worse.
You know what? Hold on. Dalton!
Like,
bring me my demon! I need something to hug and possibly bash with a hammer.
Okay, again, I don't dislike this book. I just dislike the romance between Enzo and Alara. And I just want more of this King of Gods, who Thyme hasn't even run into yet, because we're not even halfway through the goddamn book.
My beautiful gay
also,
demon.
I lied, it was 5 pages of notes.
My beautiful gay
Your
demon.
beautiful gay demon. Okay.
Take away my pain.
This is not that bad of a book. I'm still rating it higher than the last book that I reviewed. I'm telling you that. Probably because there are redeeming qualities, and the writing is beautiful. Like, she is a good writer.
I mean, that's how Fourth Ring was. It was still awful. The writing can be great. You can have the most beautiful piece of trash, and it's still trash.
Okay. All right. Yes, you are correct. But we keep marching forward.
Yes.
Because, again, I don't hate this book. I actually like some of the plot points that happen. I just don't like Enzo and Alara as a couple. Stop
writing abusive relationships, please. It pisses me off.
Please. Please. Like, you managed to not do it.
You know what would cause PTSD? You know what would cause PTSD?
Yeah. There's a lot of peppermint tea in this book, by the way. They have mint so many times in this book.
This book would murder you.
Like, this book would murder me. If this book had a scent, I would die of anaphylaxis. But yes. Once again, Alara tries to hide her feelings from Enzo to keep him from knowing that she's falling from him, you know. But now it's time for Leon's Feast, which is a celebration of the day that Leon first came to their lands. This serves as a scene for alcohol and flirting, and the two leads growing closer and seeing a pretty statue that totally wasn't carved by Enzo whatsoever. It was carved by Enzo, but that reveal comes much later, and I do not care about spoiling that reveal. And basically our two leads are growing closer. No sex. No, this isn't even almost sex. This scene actually ends with him kissing her at her door and him leaving her because he walks her back to her room while she's sobering up, basically. Also, Marissa is being all shy around Leo.
Aww.
We'll see how that works out. Can it be about those two? Yeah. Honestly, I just kind of want Isra to be the main character. Marissa's romance with Leo is such like it's there to get Marissa and Leo away from Alara and Enzo, because Leo's always with Enzo and Marissa's always with Alara. So their romance really just serves for that. And I heard a little spoiler that Marissa does not end up with Leo, and Marissa might end up with somebody else. And I agree. Maybe this book should be about Marissa. Moving forward, and guess what? Back to training. At this point, it has in my notes that I forgot when to mention it, but there is a location that Enzo takes Alara to. It's called the Grave of Angels. It might be at this point, it might be earlier, it might be a little bit later. I don't remember exactly where, but this is an important location. This is a place where there's a bunch of gravestones and statues everywhere with angel carvings on them.
Vampire!
And
vampire!
Nobody really remembers.
Vampire! Vampire!
Anyways.
Vampire! We're in a graveyard!
No, not yet.
Damn it!
No. This is an important location, but no vampires here.
God damn it.
But yes, this remember this location, the graveyard of the Grave of the Angels.
Are they gonna fuck on his
doesn't
grave?
Really like it. She thinks it's spooky. No.
Damn it.
No. Honestly, I think that would be better than where they actually fucked.
In a shower.
That would be nice.
No, it's not.
It was a shower.
Do you know how dry that is? And then the water gets in your face?
That's fair.
Take it from me, it's not sexy.
Anyways, I can assure you, I think a shower would still be better than where the fuck they had sex.
Oh god. Mid-battle.
No, that would be
I'm
worse.
so excited for this. I want to find out.
It's somewhere between shower and mid-battle. Okay. So, we get Enzo discovering why Alara's dress was so messed up when she first arrived to the palace that first day that she was there. You know, remember the guards that tried to sexually...
You mean because she was firebombed and assaulted?
Yeah, that.
And she also, like, ripped off her clothes?
Yeah, no, she tells him all about that, and this upsets him so much. She's like, don't worry, I took care of it, I cursed them, but then she wakes up the next day to their public execution.
I mean, at least he did something good. He's still a piece of shit.
Yeah. This upsets her. Okay, that's the reaction I get. Okay, this upsets her because
Go away. You and Violet need to have a contest.
One, where she's from, public executions are deemed barbaric.
I mean, yeah.
They have been yeah, they are. And they've been illegal for a very long time. But two, also, this means that Enzo didn't listen to her when she said that she took care of it and she doesn't want to think about it anymore. So she runs off again, and he chases her down. She doesn't run off for the purpose of actually running. She just runs off into, like, the city. Obviously upset over the whole situation. He chases her down. More art. They find each other at, like, this fountain that's beautiful. And they have a heart-to-heart. Essentially, he looked into the souls of those guards because he chased down the guards to figure out what's up. And he found out that, first of all, she's not their first victim, nor was she their latest victim.
Not surprised. Assaultists are gonna assault.
And she's upset that he took care of it himself and didn't trust her to do the thing. And he's like, dude, you're under my protection. Nobody will hurt you and get away with it.
Also, your curse clearly didn't work.
Yeah.
You're literally being a abuser defender when you say, you should have trusted me that I took care of it.
Yeah, no, he did the right thing when he publicly executed them.
Like, the man literally just said that you are not their latest victim. Like, hello. Mm-hmm. It's not stopping them.
He was even open at the public execution saying, like, this is what happens if you touch a woman without her consent. Like, he literally says that.
Yeah, fucking Satan has more class.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, this is when she decides to tell him that she is fated to be with the King of the Stars, by the way.
He doesn't know?
He didn't know until now. He knew that she was fated to fall in love with a star and kill the star. He did not know which star. So
it doesn't matter.
This is when she tells him which star.
It's still a star, but on top of that, y'all, like, isn't this man, wait, is this man a star?
No.
That's what I thought. I was pretty sure you said he is not a star. Like, it doesn't matter.
He's immortal.
Star. Prophecy.
I know.
Bullshit.
I know.
Neo is the one. Harry is the one.
Okay.
Aragon! I don't think Aragon is a prophecy, but still.
Yeah. So while they are having this conversation, a wolf walks up to them.
Ooh.
And Alara recognizes this wolf, because this is one that her friend Sophia has tamed, because Sophia's family line is connected to wolves, and so Sophia just has a collection of wolves that does her bidding. God, I wish Sophia was in this book more. What's the face?
This motherfucking wolf just walked his happy little ass across the goddamn globe to get here.
These are neighboring kingdoms, and their
it's still
capital
a long ways.
Cities are, a half a day carriage ride from each other.
But that also means that her friend's probably still alive.
Yes. Actually, the wolf delivers a message.
Does it talk?
The message is...
Does it literally talk?
No.
Oh.
No. It nudges this knife that Alara has had in her possession her entire time. I did not put it in my notes, but this is a knife that Alara's had that was gifted to her by her friend Sophia. It has blue and black gemstones inlaid on it.
Okay.
And it nudges the knife and manages to get through that if Alara does something, I forget what Alara does, but essentially when Alara does something with the knife, a shadow version of Sophia shows up and they can talk to each other like a cell phone.
What the fuck?
It doesn't last long because even though Sophia's alive, she's like, I can't talk to you long. The King of the Stars has been torturing people and is in control of your kingdom. Also, Lucas, your fiance, your ex-fiance, is a piece of shit. Which Alara knows because at this point we know that The reason why the King of the Stars was there in the ballroom that day is because somebody used a card to summon him. There are tarot cards, basically, in this world, and the tarot cards have the 12 stars in them. And if you spill your blood on one of the 12 cards that associates with that star, the star will be summoned, basically. And so she knows that that's how the King of the Stars showed up that day because she saw the bloody card. She believes that Lucas is the one that did it. But Sophia didn't have to tell her that. Sophia also, again, this is like maybe 2 paragraphs. Sophia didn't actually say that. Sophia was trying to tell her about that and then got interrupted. So we didn't actually get the reiteration properly there.
Nifus ex machina?
Yes. Kind of. Doesn't really need to do that because Alara starts going back to the palace to come up with a plan to rescue Sophia, and then immediately the King of Helios calls her and Enzo to his throne room and is like, okay, so I got this letter that Lucas is now crowning himself king of your kingdom. Also, the King of the Stars is there and says that he will bless the coronation. So, every royal has been invited to witness King Lucas get coronated by the stars themselves.
So that's their plan to get her there.
That is an obvious trap, and the king refuses to go, A, out of principle, for the record, because he hates the other people. And B, he forbids Alara from walking into the obvious trap.
You know, I agree with the dumbass king.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, this is obviously a trap. Why the fuck are you going there? Anyways, Alara walks into the obvious trap.
Like an idiot.
She's like, this is the best chance that we get to get into the castle so that I can save Sophia. And Enzo is like, okay, I'm joining you. I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to join you.
Let me go this way. You use your magical, stupid knife cell phone bullshit to be like, hey, while this coronation's going on, escape!
She never uses the magical knife cell phone again.
What the fuck?
Okay. Before you get too big into her, there's a reason.
Okay.
The fact that she doesn't use the knife cell phone in this moment kind of pisses me off. But after she gets there, it's understandable why she never does so again.
But she doesn't know until she gets there.
Yeah. Well, it's not that she doesn't know until she gets there. It's that the things that happen there make it so that it's pointless to use the knife cell phone again.
Okay.
Ha ha. No. Yeah.
Bullshit. Ex machina. Got it.
No. Yes, the knife is an ex machina thing that was completely needless because of the whole coronation.
Yeah, at that point,
I guess it was just there to. It was just there to make her know that Sophia's alive. But if the wolf's already there to say hi to her,
just write a goddamn letter.
Like, she knows so. Yeah.
Write a letter.
Sophia
give it to Wolfman.
Obviously alive.
Fox it,
girl.
Just fox it.
Just fox it. Yeah. Anyways, they walk into an obvious trap. But let's go over some of the basic things that happen in the coronation. First of all, they run into several stars. Then we get the first instance where they almost fuck because the star of lust is interacting with them and they get horny. Mm-hmm. Okay. We meet the pirate leader of Neptuna, which is setting up for the second book somehow. I don't know how it sets up for the second book, but I know that we meet the pirate leader and the next book is a pirate-themed book.
You know what's hilarious? Yeah. I saw the stuff for the second book, was interested because pirates, and now I'm like, wow, kindly no. All
right, so we finally walk into the trap, and we're going to finally talk about this King of the Stars.
Okay.
Who I have not used his name, but his name has been mentioned at this point. His name is Ariete.
Spell it for me.
Ariete. Ariete.
Ooh, it's a new American restaurant in Florida.
Italian.
I
have it here in my notes.
Fuck me on a goddamn coaster ride. I'm done. Fucking done. You know what it's linked to?
What does the name mean?
It's linked to the constellation Aries. Are you fucking me?
Remember when I said that all of these gods are based off of one of our zodiacs in our actual world? This one's obviously Aries. Look at the tattoo on his chest.
I wasn't paying attention to
his
chest.
Look at the tattoo.
Yeah. Okay, can I...
No. Also,
can we stop?
A reminder that it tells you exactly which one is linked to which one here at the beginning of the goddamn book. I knew he was Aries from the get-go.
Can we stop demonizing Aries?
Yes, please.
Ares is one of the chillest motherfuckers. He's also the most pro women's rights.
Yeah, he is the most pro women's rights, and he's the reason why...
Also, why is he a vampire?
He's the first court case. Because he's got a bloodlust. He loves blood. He likes war. He likes drinking blood. He likes doing things. It is all just about blood.
You know,
Which, honestly, not that bad of a representation for Ares. Just stop villainizing Ares, please. Him being a vampire was a little silly, but bear with me here, okay? The Fanes also give him a poison, a special poison that only he has, that can incapacitate people. And by incapacitate, I mean, like, put them in a half-lucid state, and it also prevents you from using your powers. And the only thing that can get this poison out of your system, because it doesn't get out of your system naturally, is if you drink the blood of another star. Either him or any of the stars, basically. And it requires more blood. You have to drink more blood than the poison that was put inside of you in order to get the poison out of your system. So the Fanes are also functionally there to get poison into Alara's system. But he is both a vampire who likes drinking blood, who also likes fucking, by the way. Like, he is not subtle about that. But he doesn't flirt with Alara, for the record.
So, I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Okay.
Yes, he is a god of war. He represents aggression, brutality, the savagery of war. But I'd like to comment on a few things. There's been a lot of shit recently, thanks to social media and AI, that essentially has this weird thing where Ares ends all of the gods of Olympus, which is not actually in Greek mythology at all. Yeah, it's a video going around.
What the fuck?
Ares is he's just doing his thing, okay? But also, as someone who literally has a altar for a war goddess, like, not within touching distance away from me, just because someone is a god or goddess of war does not mean they should constantly be villainized. And a great book that actually does this. Dalton literally was like, you should just read both of these and review them at the same time because they're both related to Brave, and I think one is far superior than the other so far.
Okay.
Is Bravely. Because one of the big things in that book is the antagonist, and she is constantly pissed off at this guy, is a god of destruction. He touches stuff, it gets destroyed in multiple different ways. And here's the thing, he's just doing his job.
Yeah.
But also, the gods do not cause us to do shit. They can influence us.
I'm gonna defend this guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna defend this guy. I'm gonna defend this characterization. And unfortunately, I don't want to reveal the twist as to why I'm gonna defend this characterization.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say that I defend this guy for now, and we'll circle back to that. But I do love villainous, unhinged men. So I didn't have to wait for this defense of him to pop up for me to actually like him. And I know that I hear you. By this point, the book has had enough references to the stars not having true godlike powers. Only having more power than a normal person and having the ability to kill people en masse and do a few other strange things, that I'm already suspicious of the nature of the stars. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you that idea that there's a suspicious nature to the stars that makes them not perfectly godlike. They live in the heavens, whatever the heavens is, because I wish I knew what the heavens are, but they reference the heavens. They have very strong powers, but, like, at this point, just treat him as, like, a super powerful human who can kill people and, like, with almost no effort. He's bloodlust. He's covered in tattoos. He's got red and black hair. He's honestly, for being a villain, that is, like, he's kind of smart in some cases. In the sense of, he's actively avoiding interacting with Alara as much as possible because he knows the prophecy, and he's kind of figured, like, the more he interacts with her, the more likely it is that things will happen that doesn't go the way he wants to go.
Yeah.
So we actually get a torture arc. Ooh. Where he has poisoned her with his venom, and he actually has another god. I'm so sorry, you're going to be pissed off here in a second. One of the twin star gods, Gem, she's poking around inside of Alara's mind because Gem has mind reading powers. and mind manipulation powers in general. But she is another one of the stars. He only takes part in the torture system once. He gives her a little bit of his blood to talk to her to see if he can like charm her a little bit, but after that one time he doesn't go back to do it anymore. He continues to let Jem do it because it's very obvious he does not want to interact with her as he wants to limit their interactions as much as possible to avoid the prophecy actually coming true.
You want to know something hilarious?
Huh.
So the spelling for the actual astrological sign is actually based on the ram, the fleece. It's not actually based on the god at all.
I know.
No association. I just thought it was hilarious.
I know. I agree.
I'm just still annoyed that they decided to demonize a god of war because Ares is such a low blow. It's like picking on Hades.
I'm gonna say it. I don't think they're necessarily demonizing the gods that we know.
Fair. That is fair.
Like, as much as like you're hearing these things, and you're hearing like these like the Aphrodite is the country. The goddesses of lust's name is Torah, not Aphrodite. It's Torah. And remember, Helios, the god of the country of light, again, their god's name is Leon. Like, and yeah, sure, the patron stars of Castor, which is obviously Gemini, are Gem and Eli, but like that's as close as it fucking gets.
My big thing is you could have just picked completely unrelated names. Like, you're clearly, in my opinion, you could have just picked completely different names.
I don't think so. I think there's a purpose behind this. There's a purpose.
You could have just made your own
Bear
lore.
with me.
But okay. I will bear with you. Also, fun fact, Torah is a name derived from Thor.
That makes sense. I know that the third book is listed as Norse mythology retelling, which I'm interested to see how that happens. I see your smile. Time is ready for me to hate myself. I don't know if the next episode that's mine is going to be the second book to this. I think I need to take a breather after that. But I love this character of Ariete, and do want more of him. So I am tempted to finish reading the books even without Time saying I have to do so, just for him.
Continue. Convince me that the names are needed.
So Ariete and Jem aren't finding what they want when they're doing the torture arc for Alara. And as this is happening, even though Enzo was captured, he managed to get out before anything happened to him. So Enzo has made deals with various gods to try and get Alara out. Several of these plans fail. We get to see them fail on screen quite often. She gets to Sophia at least once, gets caught by Ariete and Jem and brought back, yada yada. Which is how we see that, like, a little bit of blood of a star will make Alara lucid for a short period of time, but then eventually the poison will overcome the blood, and she has to, again, consume a lot more blood of a star than what is the poison in her system to completely get the poison out. You're looking confused. I know, the having to drink the blood of a star in order to get the poison that the blood god put inside of her body... We're just going to accept this magic system. Mostly because the story does make it apparent at the end of the story that there are multiple magic systems interacting with each other. But you don't know that at this point right now.
Okay.
This brings us, after several of these plans fail, to the ballet scene.
There's a ballet scene?
There's a ballet scene.
There's ballet in this universe?
Ariete, there's ballet in this universe. Ariete gives Alara just enough of his blood to keep her lucid throughout the ballet.
Why?
So that she watches it.
Why?
Because it is a bloody festival where she gets to watch all of her court that is left over be killed off one by one. Without Lucas, because Lucas is keen right now. This includes Sophia. We watch Sophia die on stage, which is why the cell phone never comes back. Sophia dies.
Couldn't she do it with somebody else?
The knife cell phone was created by Sophia, and Alara doesn't know how to recreate it as far as I'm aware. Yeah. Now, luckily, between traveling to the ballet and actually seeing the ballet, another star gave Alara extra blood. Enough blood that it cancels out the inability to use her powers. Because remember, the blood makes you unable to use your powers. Not the blood. The poison in her system makes her unable to use her powers.
How did they do this without him finding out?
Fuck, there was a whole heist thing where they got her in a bathroom with the guy, and there was somebody outside watching and pretending that they were following orders, basically. There was a proper heist involved to get her into that bathroom so that she can drink some more blood.
Okay.
That's a sentence.
Okay.
But yeah, so Alara illusions, she creates a super powerful illusion to fake her death and finally escape and get to the rendezvous point that Jem's twin brother Eli tells her to go to, and his, like, he basically sends her a mind message being like, okay, go to this rendezvous point, that's where Enzo is for you. Enzo and Leo and Marissa and the king are all fucking there, not Lucas, for now. She gets to the rendezvous point, they're about to set off. Enzo sees her state, and he's like, hold up. So he holds up them going and getting escape so that he could go back and set fire to the playhouse. Because he heard about he's pissed off that they hurt her. Yeah, I'm still not sure that was a sign of true love. I'm concerned for straight women. But she thinks this is a wonderful example of how he cares for her. Also, he managed to capture Lucas. Remember Lucas?
Yeah.
Her ex-fiancé? Yeah. Lucas is just a dick, for the record. But he is very insistent, for the record, that he is not the person who summoned Ariete to the ballroom that day. Yeah.
We could have made him way more interesting than just have him be a dick.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that she says is that darkness powers, if not controlled properly, can corrupt people's souls, and she thinks that he was corrupted. I think he's just a dick. I think she's coping that her childhood fiancé and friend is just been a dick this whole time. But he's insistent that it wasn't him that started this. This is not a plot point this is one of the few plot points where we're not circling back around to that in this book, but I'm pretty sure we'll circle back around to that in a later book.
So, does he die?
Well,
'cause I'm waiting for him to die.
Enzo carves... Lucas throws some slurs at Alara, and so Enzo's response is to carve those slurs onto Lucas's skin and then throw him in the lake.
More and more, I am very concerned for what people find cute.
Yeah.
And attractive. Because if I saw my husband carving something into someone's skin, I'd be very confused. Number one, how are you my husband? Number two, what the fuck, mate?
Have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
Nope. Well, I've seen clips of it. The clips I've seen, I didn't give a shit about.
Okay, but have you seen the clips in which they carve swastikas onto the Nazis' bodies so that people know that they were Nazis?
No.
Okay, it's kind of giving that.
Yeah, but the guy's alive.
Yeah, they're trying to pull this idea that he might have died, but I know that he's alive. I know story structure enough. He's insistent that it wasn't him, and he was thrown into a lake. And sure, later in the book, it comments that he hasn't been seen since his coronation day. And he's been missing for a long time. And the last people who saw him were the people who threw him in the fucking lake.
But also,
he's gonna come back. I know he is.
How is this girl who was upset that 2 sexual assault abusers were executed, but she's okay with the love interest carving stuff into a man's body?
Yeah. Oh, carving it with his light, by the way. Not even with a knife.
On top of that, let's say someone found Lucas's body, okay? Let's play the devil's advocate of he's possibly dead. We know he's not dead, but he's possibly dead. Let's say someone found his body. Mm-hmm. If I saw that, I would assume it was a hate crime.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They carved the word light slut onto him, which is the slur that was mentioned earlier. Notably, Alara does think in this moment that her from a few months ago would have been aghast by this situation, that she would have thought it would be disgusting and horrible, but right now, she is a changed person after everything that she's gone through in the last 2 weeks.
No.
So she's okay with it now.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, so they're on the boat trying to get back to Helios, and then they almost get murdered by some sirens.
Sadness.
Sirens' powers are not The siren powers are not working on Enzo and Alara. And when they fight, the strange combined magic thing happens again, which causes the sirens to back off and proclaim that they will guide the ship safely to their destination. And no one really questions this.
So when do we find out what he actually is?
What they both actually are? Wouldn't that be nice? No, we do know. Bear with me. By this point, I figured out that there's something not normal about these people. You figured out that there's something not normal about these people. I'm sure that anybody who reads the book has figured out whether there's something not normal about these people. I'm trying to tell the story in the way that it is meant to be. So you will find out when it's time to find out.
Just remember that some of your classmates exist.
Are we talking about the three greats thing again? Oh, yeah. Anyways, classmates, listen up. We're going to move on to Alara is now traumatized, and we get several chapters of Enzo nursing her back to health and stuff. They got her a big bottle of star blood, and she drinks it, and she's mentally traumatized because, 2 weeks of torture is not going to leave somebody mentally sound. She waffles back and forth on using her magic again, because apparently the thing that stops you from using your magic is trauma. So Enzo and her new friends help her overcome her PTSD that she got from this whole situation.
And did it take a while?
She can't remember how long it takes. In fact, she begs for drugs so that she can keep herself asleep so that she doesn't have to remember what happened. Which, yeah, Enzo is like, no, we're not doing the drugs thing anymore after a while. But he waits until she says, I think I'm ready, and then she tries to go back on it after she said she thinks she's ready, and, it's a whole back and forth, where she thinks she's ready, she realizes that she's not ready, she goes back and forth, but it takes an undetermined amount of time.
I do like the representation of trauma causing drug use.
Yes. Of course, they never get back into the fact that she was using drugs to get through her trauma again, so she didn't become dependent on the drugs, but I guess that's story reasons. If we don't need her to become dependent on drugs to tell the story, I guess we don't have to have it in there. But it could have been a cool thing. Alara and Enzo very much falling in love, and instead of doing training, because the king is demanding she get back into training as soon as possible, Enzo's like, fuck this, come to my secret art workshop every day. Because he has a secret art workshop. This is when she finds out that he's the one that's made a bunch of the statues that she has been admiring throughout the book. And while there, she's like, hey, can you show me how to make art? And they combine their magic together to make art, and this creates dusk glass. Actual physical glass that you can pick up that looks like dusk. And according to Isra, this is what they need to kill the stars. So they make a sword out of it. Why are you giving me that face?
What the fuck?
Yeah, light and dark combine, and they make glass, and it's what you can use to kill the stars.
That's not how glass works.
Look, it's magic. There's a lot of times where I'm like, magic is being a little silly in these. This one, I'm gonna say, this is magic. Let's suspend our disbelief a little bit for this one.
But also, why do we want all the stars dead? I thought we just wanted the one dead.
Well, his father wants all the stars dead.
Why?
Huh?
Why does he want all of them dead?
Oh, because he's a power.
Oh, because he wants the power.
He's a power-hungry bastard. Yeah. But, as far as Alara is concerned, she only wants the one dead. She wants two dead now. She wants both Jem and Arite to die. She wants both of them dead. But the rest of them, she could give less shits about. She doesn't trust them, but she can give less shits about any of the rest of them. So, new plan time. Proclaim that Alara is alive to the world, because everybody thinks Alara is dead. At the upcoming solstice celebration, and Aphrodea, because everybody celebrates the solstice. It's the most important holiday to both Helios and Aphrodea, so the royals from both countries use a magic mirror to transport between each other so that they can celebrate in both countries. In fact, the magic mirror system exists for all of the kingdoms. It's just that Alara's parents destroyed their magic mirror. Yeah, there's a magic teleportation mirror.
What? What?
Honestly, while they were making this plan, which, by the way, this is a writing sin, she wrote what the plan was going to be in the book. As they were making this plan, I was like, how the fuck are they going to get to Aphrodea? The capital of Aphrodea in that much time, in a whole day. They're going to celebrate in the morning for their regular, traditions in Helios and then go to Aphrodea and celebrate in Aphrodea later. I was confused. But the magic mirror is a good Deus Ex mirror.
And this just came up
I guess there are magic items. Yeah, this just came up.
So again, why don't they just make a glamour necklace?
Okay, I guess there are magic items. Great question. We got the Deus Ex knife cell phone and the magic mirror, but apparently it was gifted to them somehow. I don't know how the magic mirror thing it's just there.
I think the time turners in Harry Potter made more sense at this point.
The time turners make a lot of sense as long as you ignore Cursed Child.
Cursed Child doesn't exist. It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's Bigfoot.
It is a myth. Anyways, Bigfoot is more real than the Cursed Child.
I have a theory that Bigfoot and the Yeti are just based out of racism.
I think my theory is just based off of what the camouflage would be, because Bigfoot comes from forested areas with big trees, and Yetis come from snow.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's just which one would blend in more.
I just meant how they're presented today, considering most people present them as ape-like.
Okay, I see.
I can see that point out of racism. Magic mirrors.
I'm not going to go into the details of this.
Okay.
Welcome to Time They Almost Had Sex in Public with people watching them, number 2.
What?
A reminder that there is a lot of things about Aphrodite and Helios really liking some sex. And they're in Aphrodite. So the Aphrodite tradition is that they do a seduction ritual for a royal proper welcome in Aphrodite. They're not supposed to go all the way in the seduction ritual, but they almost go all the way because they almost forget that everybody else is there. Anyways, this is when she announces that she is Alara and she is still alive. Plan goes off without a hitch. We're going to move past the plan because what was that?
Does the author have a fetish we should know about?
There's definitely some fetishes going on in there. I definitely noticed some fetishes. I'm going to not think too much about the fetishes. But we will get to the sex scene. When we get to the big real sex scene, I am actually going to talk about something that is prevalent throughout all of the sex scenes.
Got it.
And by all the sex scenes, I mean the almost sex scenes. But yeah, plan goes off without a hitch. Marissa's there to like super glamour everybody into being unrecognizable to anybody. Isra's there to be like, okay, these are the times where each individual group, like, these are all the different paths that I've seen of the future. This group over here, you're going to go to the mirror at this time and go through. This group's going to go here at this time and go through, and basically, like, split up the party so that they can all go through at different times and make sure that nobody catches them. Because the Queens of Aphrodite are not happy about the declaring the war on the stars thing. Oh, by the way, Alara declared war on the stars when she revealed who she was to the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alara and Enzo are told that they have to go last, that they're the last 2 people. And so Enzo takes her up to a rooftop and they start dancing. And then they're interrupted by the Star of Lust, Tora, and the other twin god, Eli. Remember those 2? We mentioned them already. They're there to talk to them, and they're like, okay, we love this idea of starting a war on the stars. If you kill Ariete, we will worship you, Alara. That's literally what these 2 stars say. They're like, I know we're gods. I know you consider us gods. We will worship you if you kill our king. They then give her incredibly cryptid advice and imply that Enzo is not telling her something. None of this matters. But I'm putting this in here because implying that Enzo is lying to her about something, is holding the truth from her about something, is used against her later. But Alara doesn't want to hear it unless it comes from Enzo. Overall, their talks go well. Also, big reveal, Marissa is Aphrodite's daughter and is thus half-star.
You know, not wanting to hear it unless it's from Enzo is a bad sign.
It is. I agree.
Do they...
I'm very concerned about straight women sometimes.
Do they at least say why they don't like their king?
They don't like that he is bloodthirsty, power-hungry, that he causes them issues in heaven, and they don't really tell them why they cause him so many issues, just that he is not a good king to them. He is a tyrant in their eyes.
I get the feeling there's more to the story.
I'm sure there is. There's not much more that I can glean from this book other than the reveal that I'm hiding from you, but I'm sure that they will get more into it in later books, just based off of what I read from the blurb for book 3.
Like, not excusing his bloodthirsty behavior, but I'm guessing the other gods are keeping something, because they would not want him dead unless it benefited them.
Tora has some interesting words to say in the epilogue. I will tell you that. Mm-hmm. But moving on. Yes, Marissa is half-star, by the way. I really wish this book was about Marissa. So they finally all retreat back to Helios and continue the traditional solstice celebrations within their culture of what happens in the palace. It's an orgy.
I figured.
It is an orgy, but it is the most monogamous straight person's idea of an orgy to fucking exist. Like, what do you mean people go off into their little corners and fuck whoever, like, their partner is? Like, what is this?
That's not
this
how
isn't
an orgy is.
This is a bunch of people going off into different corners and fucking each other while music and people who are, like, single get to dance in the middle.
That's
like,
not an orgy.
I know, it's not an orgy. But, like, I don't know what else to explain people openly having sex all over the palace. Like, she describes, like, guards having sex with people in, like, corners of the hallway while she's going to the party thing. Like,
that's like saying that people making out in my high school hallway is an orgy.
I mean, literally having sex, dude.
I know.
Saying making out.
I mean, like,
yeah.
like them making out in the hallway is an orgy because they're doing stuff with their partner. Like, no, an orgy is like...
Yeah. Like, and to be fair, the book doesn't say the word orgy. They just talk a lot about how it's such a hedonist night and everybody goes having sex with everybody, and then it's the most monogamous straight person's idea of everybody having sex with everybody. I say straight person. Not every character in this is straight. For the record, Marissa does go off with Leo in this scene, and then Isra goes off to go on her date. Like, she has a date with a girl who she is casually being with on the side, and this is a reveal to Alara that does not circle back around, and I do not see it circling back around, but it's weird that it was highlighted that Isra has a date, and everybody's surprised that Isra has a date. Isra has been gay this entire time.
But
she has been openly lesbian this entire time.
We could have just had, like, some polyamory. Have it be,
right?
You know... Like, how is that hedonistic at all?
Could have just been polyamory. Anyways, so Enzo and Alara go off to a room because, yes, again, everybody's having sex with everybody, but there's private rooms.
That's not hedonistic at all. That's just...
Yeah.
A brothel's more hedonistic.
Yeah. Anyways, sexy time is interrupted.
Thank God.
By the king.
Thank God.
Literally, like, Enzo's eating Alara out, and the king walks in.
Did they not lock the door?
No.
Idiots.
They're not in a bedroom. They're not in a bedroom. They're in a parlor room.
You didn't lock the door? Put a chair in the way?
Yeah. I did not. So the king's come by, and he's like, okay, Ariete's, like, burned the castle of Asteria to the ground, and also... because everybody in your court is dead, Lucas hasn't been seen in weeks, and Ariete just burned the castle to the ground. Your kingdom is now just ripe for the taking. So I sent a bunch of soldiers down there, and they are murdering your people. That's what the king said. And also, you better not be in love with each other. I don't know what this is, but you better not be in love with each other.
This is the most cartoon villain I've ever seen.
Yeah. So Ariete plans to march on Helios, and... first, he has to have a Star Council meeting to get permission from Leon, because you can't just march into another person's territory. They know Leon is going to say no, but also they know that Ariete is not going to listen, and that the council is because Ariete doesn't know that Leon's going to say no. Now we're in the third act breakup, okay?
Wait, go back.
Alara thinks,
What the hell was any of that? You can't just, like, march into someone else's territory? Like, isn't that what's happening?
There's apparently rules and laws that the stars have that they... follow through on their end. No, I'm with it. I'm with it. There's obviously a legal system that the stars have that don't apply to humans. Ariete is following through on the legal system that he has set up, and he is going to break it when the legal system doesn't work with what he wants.
Then why do the legal system to begin with?
To make the third act breakup work, because the third act breakup needs time.
Okay.
And you're right. It is annoying that he follows the Star Council meeting, the laws that he has in the first place, if he's just going to break them.
Also, I don't think a bloodthirsty motherfucker would bother with it anyway.
I feel you on that. I genuinely do. But, like, I kind of like the idea that he set up the laws, and so he's at least trying to keep up appearances with his own court, in that sense. But when he doesn't get his way, he still breaks the rules, and that's why, like, it's giving this idea that he has set up a court system that he follows through, and it made everybody complicit in the first place, and then over time he started breaking the rules more and more to a place where nobody noticed it at first, but now people are, and now his own people are turning against him.
Isn't what happened in her kingdom basically the same thing as marching on another kingdom?
Yes, but reminder that star has been asleep for thousands of years.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why he got away with it there. And everybody openly acknowledges that had that star not been asleep for the last several thousand years, he wouldn't have gotten away with it.
And do they know why she's asleep?
No. Or at least the humans don't know why. None of the stars talk about it. Just the humans are like, we don't know why she's asleep. Yeah. Hey, no. This is a normal thing that fairy tales have and folklore and mythology have.
I know.
Like...
Logically, I would at least ask.
Like,
maybe do some research.
I know that there's some talk about, like, how every time she wakes up, she gives, like, a big life-changing prophecy. And that she just sleeps because she's the dreamer and she's also the fate. She's the god of fate, basically. So she dreams and she does fate things, and that's why she sleeps forever. There's loose things that they just don't know when she wakes up, but every once in a while she wakes up. The world changes massively. Things can move on. But she doesn't wake up for any of this. So we're skipping past the third act breakup. Because all this is that Ilara's just convinced that she's been too emotional and that she shouldn't have let things happen between her and Enzo, and that she needs to be more logical, and she shouldn't have forgotten about her people. She shouldn't have done this, wrapped herself up with this whole thing.
I mean, fair, you shouldn't have abandoned your people. You're the fucking government!
Yeah. Obviously, they get back together. They work things out. There was a thing that happened in that almost sex scene that just happened. You know, the one that the Keen interrupted.
If he was eating her out, that was a sex scene.
Okay, fine. Well, he almost eats her out.
Okay.
I think at that point he fingers her and then is about to eat her out when they get interrupted.
Is fingering foreplay or... I mean, still penetrative.
Depends on the definition. And honestly, you don't have to have penetrative sex in order to have sex.
No, I know.
Yeah. It depends on the definition, but based off of how short that scene is before they get interrupted, I'm going to say it's not.
Fair.
So, like, one of the things that happens in that sex scene is that he kneels before her and puts his crown on her, and apparently that's like a tradition where if you do that, it means that that's who you're going to marry, and that's how they make up, blah, 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 blah. The romance is the worst part of this story. Honestly, I am on board with the world building. I like the world building. I know that you haven't been on board with the world building. I've been liking it. It's the romance that's getting me out of this situation.
I feel like I would maybe be on board with the world building in a better story.
That's fair.
I also just feel like the names are too on the nose.
I didn't completely dislike this. Like, there are just moments in this story that I didn't like. This wasn't that bad of a story. It's not good. It's just not that bad. Time is judging me, and I accept this. Anyways, so they have sex the night before the invasion in... Are you ready for this?
Bring it on.
His art workshop.
I figured it was going to be that. You want to know how I figured? Because that happens in A Court of Thorns and Roses. If I remember correctly, that happens. She has that whole art thing.
Really describing that he's laying her down on the sheets that catch his stonework rubble.
Wouldn't that be
really
painful?
Does not sell it. It sounds painful. I know that, like, okay, so, like, props to these sex scenes for, like, actually not just being sex, because they have long conversations in between, like, things that they are doing, and there's actually, like, more than sex happening in this sex scene. Like, he takes a break between the foreplay and actually them having sex to admire her and talk about how she's an amazing piece of art.
That's dehumanizing.
No, like, he puts her... she lays down and poses for him, and then he says that.
Okay, I guess it's a little
like,
better.
She's doing it... yeah.
I don't know. Like, for me, you can't take a break between the two, but maybe that's a gray sexual thing.
I also don't like taking breaks between the two, but I respect that, like, there is more happening than just sex, that they're actually having conversations. There's so much conversation happening in these more spicy scenes. Oh my god.
Just shut up and finish it already, and then talk afterwards. God.
It's not too
I've got
bad.
shit to do.
Honestly, it was refreshing to see something different.
Fair.
Honestly. Also, the fact that the sex scenes are not, like, as explicit as other sex scenes that I've read.
Yeah, that was refreshing in that one book that I mailed to you.
Oh, yeah.
The one where the two old people do it. It was nice.
Wickedly After
Yeah,
After.
it was really nice that it was not crazy explicit. Like, it you know what's going on, but it's not like, he inserted his sword into me hilt deep.
Yeah, no,
as
it's
he
none of that.
broke
I
my arm
appreciate it.
wire, and I was somehow okay with furniture damage.
Yeah. That's so expensive.
And then I shattered underneath him. Sounds fucking painful.
Let's make a book. Let's make a video game called The Romanticy Hotels, where it's every person who visits, it's always the last bed, no matter what, even if there's more bedrooms. And then their main cost is just broken bed frames. Okay. But yes, moving on from the sex scene. Honestly, the art workshop sex scene does, being not in the palace actually does go to their favor. Because, spoilers, they don't know this at first, but they miss the part where Jem, remember?
Yeah.
The one that can fuck with people's minds, sneaks in and starts mind controlling all of the guards in the palace. So they managed to skip out on all the mind control because of that.
Nice.
But they don't know that yet. Before going to the palace, after waking up the next day after having sex the night before the invasion happens, Enzo takes Alara to the graveyard of the angels. Did you forget about that yet?
No.
Okay. Because he has this tradition where before he goes into battle, he goes to the graveyard of the angels and asks the angels for strength instead of the stars. And he has this personal belief that he does better in battle when he does this tradition. You know, actually, this is probably one of the cutest real things that this guy does with her.
You know, when you wear that one pair of socks.
Yes, he does.
Does he finally reveal what he's hiding?
No. In fact, I didn't even put in my notes that he revealed what he's hiding because him revealing what he that was such a nothing burger of a reveal, for the record. When they're doing this, Alara muses that perhaps the stars are only gods because people worship them instead of the real gods. And this awakens the angel, one of the angel statues, and a creature from the book that Alara's been reading the whole time. Remember that book? Yeah, one of the creatures just flies down and starts talking to her with one of these statue angels.
They're the gods.
Yeah, kind of. These ones are mythical beings that are related to the gods, but they are not the actual gods.
No, I was talking about the main characters.
Yeah, how did you tell that? Yeah. Yes. By this point, once we get this reveal that they're actual gods, I figured this out. But we'll get into the details of what gods they are, because Enzo and Alara don't put it together from this conversation, for the record. And before you say, how do they not, a reminder that they've lived in this world where they have known themselves to be mortal. They don't know what makes Alara special so much. But as far as she's concerned, the magic combining thing is just a thing people do when they're intimate with each other. Which is what they are taught by Isra. So they were taught that by Isra. They believed that the stars... Not as much as you think.
Okay.
Isra's not the character who knows more than they let on. But there is a character that knows more than they let on, and it's not Isra. But, everybody knows that there's magic. Not everybody. It's a known... a not very well kept secret that magic can combine. Mm-hmm. But the stars don't want people to know that the magic can combine. Which is what Isra mentions back then, which is part of the reveal that the stars are not actually gods. The stars didn't even gift people the powers. It was actually the original gods known as the Celestes. And remember how they live in a world called Celestia? They even literally say, they're the actual people that this world is named after. Now, the stars, when they came down to the world, were jealous of the Celestes and did fey trickery, basically, to make them lose their powers and make the stars become the new gods. The angel and the creature, so these two creatures that work for the Celestes, want Alara and Enzo to kill the stars and reclaim power for the Celestes. This is also why people, remember how Isra has both, magic from another kingdom and this kingdom? According to these people, the stars have been keeping people in their little kingdoms to keep them from going out and having kids with powers from different kingdoms to keep people from figuring out that. So, it's just a bunch of, details all coming together right now. As Alara leaves, the angel stops her and tells her not to give the dusk blade, remember, the sword made from the dusk glass, to Enzo before the fight. She asks for more information, and they're just we physically can't tell you because of fate. I know. Okay. So now we get to the fight between Alara and Arete. Enzo goes in first to try and locate Arete ahead of time. And then when he comes back, he asks for the dusk blade, and Alara gives it to him. Hold up here. I know that you're what the fuck? She was just told not to give it to him. That's what I thought in the moment. This is a little bit of a twist. Alara is fucking with the readers as well, which, like, I don't like how the story fucked with us a little bit here,
No,
but
that
also
doesn't
I
work.
liked Alara's plan.
You can't just, like...
It's in third person, so you shouldn't have been fucking with us that
Yeah.
much. But yeah, when they get to Arate, obviously Enzo betrays Alara and gives the Duskblade to Arate. Arate then throws Alara in the dungeons as he plans to move her to a tower in heaven and then just lock her up where everyone will forget that she exists and nobody has to interact with her. While Arate is gone doing his plans, Enzo appears and starts to harass Alara. But nobody's realized that Alara has illusioned herself this entire time, and it turns out that the blade that she gave Enzo was actually the dagger. Remember the dagger? Yeah, it was actually that.
So she can illusion objects.
Yes.
And somehow the stars can't see past it.
She's gotten really powerful over this time. That's what I gotta say about that. The stars didn't think that she was that powerful.
I don't buy that. Then again, she is supposed to be an actual god, but at the same time, I don't buy that.
She gets a really powerful power up here right at the end that isn't really well explained. I will say that. Like, there's, like, her suddenly getting a massive power up is not well explained at all. But she does catch Jem off guard because this Enzo that she's talking to, that she gave the fake Duskblade to, but for the record, she illusioned her dagger. She illusioned the Duskblade to look like her dagger. And then when Arate searched her for weapons, she also illusioned it to not look at all.
So she can illusion multiple times.
Yeah. Well, she can shape her illusions at will at this point. She always shaped her illusions at will.
I feel like having a main character that is overly powerful is both, like, a cop-out, but also, like, I understand why they do it.
Yeah. I wish this book was about Marissa. So, she stabs the fake Enzo, who is Jem pretending to be Enzo, obviously. And she promises to spare Jem if Jem gives up information on where Enzo is. And then once Jem does give up the information on where Enzo is, Alara breaks her promise and kills Jem.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of liked that plan. I was actually ready to get angry at her for sparing Jem, and then she just kills Jem, and I'm happy.
So was Jem also the Enzo that, gave the Duskblade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jem dying, of course, releases all the guards from the mind control, and then they faint, which this is egregious plot hole number 3 for me. Well, number 2, really. This is the biggest plot hole that pisses me off, is that all of the guards faint when they get released from mind control, and that doesn't alert Arate at all. Arate does not notice all the guards fainting. How many guards are there in this fucking castle? Probably not a lot, actually. They mentioned that the castle was really empty, and that most of the guards managed to make it out in time. So, like, maybe. But it's still... Surely Arate would have noticed all, like, a guard on the floor. I don't know. Anyways, Alara goes to the room that Enzo is kept in, and the Keen is also there, and the Keen is pissed off that Alara and Enzo are kissing and actually, like, in love with each other.
Idiot.
Yeah, he does the big reveal that Alara, how his wife that was killed by Alara's parents betrayed him, and how he was happy that his wife died if she betrayed him like that. He does that. In response, he tries to fight Enzo to, like, just suddenly became a cartoon villain, and Enzo's response is to kill his dad.
He was already a cartoon villain.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he had one good moment where he's just like, Alara, don't walk into an obvious trap. And that's it.
I still don't know why she walked into an obvious trap.
To save Sophia. I know. Now Alara actually comes up with a plan. This one is not explained on page, for the record. A lot of the plans before were explained on page. But now we have a new plan to defeat Arate, and she uses her dream walking to meet up with Marissa, the guards, and Isra to get everybody on the same page for the plan. So, I'm not going to go into how Arate gets duped for the fight, because it is, like, 2 chapters of getting Arate pissed off and away from the public. But essentially, Marissa is pretending to be Alara for a second, while Alara is in this state of half dream walking, half real world. Again, sudden massive power up that is not explained really well.
Yeah, how are you able to do dream walking when they're awake?
Great question. Moving on, because I have no clue. Doing this, though, she can mentally connect with Isra, who is using her searing ability to figure out every single one of Arite's moves before he can do them, and tells Alara in time for Alara to dodge every single attack Arite has. So that's a cool sequence of events.
I feel like at that point that's not actual searing.
Yeah. I mean, she's looking into the future, technically.
Yeah, but I feel like this is all a bunch of just nonsense.
Yeah, the seer powers in general are not well defined, and every seer has different powers that do different things. And I know that Isra is supposedly this once in a generation super powerful seer. They all do something different. It's weird.
I just feel like all of this is just too much of, oh, we're overpowered bullshit. This is like a level 20 D&D character going and fighting a level 1 goblin. Like, it's a bunch of dumbassery.
I mean, he is a god.
Yeah. But at the same time, this should still be more difficult than this. This should not just be a bunch of Deus Ex Machina stuff.
The good news is that he's pretending to lose his energy, and then when Alara thinks she has the upper hand, he defeats her and manages to get the Duskblade out of her hand and throws it off the side of the building that they're on.
Why don't you just break it?
That's a great question. It is just made of glass, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess magic glass. Great question. But Alara then makes a signal to Enzo, who then rides a winged lion shadow thing up to the top and grabs the Duskblade and puts it back in Alara's hands.
Again, why didn't you break it?
Yeah, you're right. Why didn't you break it? Arite is fucking done with this. And this fight doesn't go on for much long before Arite just kills Enzo.
Thank God.
And as Enzo, in his final moments, exists, he gives his power to Alara because apparently they're soulmates, and that's how soulmate magic works.
Bullshit.
Yes. Like, we're establishing that Enzo and Alara are soulmates when Alara is supposedly fated for Arite. So this gives Alara enough rage and power to conjure a bunch of Duskblades and throw them at Arite, pin him to the wall. It's actually kind of graphic. Like, the Duskblades are actually, properly in his limbs and shit. It's just not in his heart, and you have to stab him through the heart in order to kill him with the Duskblade. Alara walks up to him to do the final blow, stab him in the heart, and just before she does it, Marissa stabs Alara.
That's what we're doing now. I've just kind of accepted that a bunch of random shit's happening.
This is where we get the actual reveal that Alara and Enzo are gods.
And that's how he's able to give the power, obviously.
Yeah. Specifically, Alara is the reincarnation of the moon, and Enzo is the reincarnation of the sun. And before the stars, they have been in love with each other for forever and could not be together because they were the moon and the sun. By the way, there's no moon and sun in the sky in this entire book.
Ugh. They're basing it off of that story.
Yes, they are. When Marissa stabs Alara with the Duskblade, it takes away... Oh, okay, actually, let's go back a little bit. When the stars came, they were jealous of the Celestes, and so they tricked the Celestes. Remember that. When they tricked the Celestes, they couldn't actually get the Celestes to stop existing. Instead, they basically bound their powers into mortal bodies and started a reincarnation cycle, a la Sailor Moon. They are soulmates. Alara and Enzo are soulmates. They are the sun and the moon. They are meant to be together, and they have a bunch of magical chains that they can't see, magical spells around them that keep them from being their immortal selves. But when Marissa stabs Alara with the Duskblade, the curses and spells that kept them from being immortal
got released.
Break away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Alara's kind of immortal and comes back to life, because she does die there for a second, for the record. Alara is like, oh shit, I know how to save Enzo now. I can resurrect him. So she uses her dream walking to resurrect him. It starts to work, and then Arite, Arite is super fucking done with this. He's had to watch this whole thing while fucking pinned to a wall. So we get one of the... Like, he literally rips himself out of the Duskblades, It is a horrifying description of him literally, like, you can see the bones and sinew and muscles getting ripped apart by the Duskblades as he's ripping himself out and, like, actual pieces and stuff. It's crazy. I actually really like that.
How does that resurrect him?
Great question. But Arite removes the tether between his body and him in the dream world. So he's not fully resurrected. It's just his body that got resurrected now. I don't know how dreamwalking resurrects him. I just know that it does.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, the ending of the book kind of... It's another one of those ones where it's...
Also, them being soulmates is such bullshit.
It is. I 100% agree. But we have an epilogue left because Arite runs back off to the heavens now that he's stolen the tether. And he's like, I gotta go fucking deal with the fact that you guys are back and I thought I got rid of you. So both Helios and Astria are left without rulers. Enzo is still unconscious. Alara's response is to turn the entire sky black with darkness and prepare for war. Tora then shows up in front of Alara. Remember Tora? She shows up in front of Alara, and basically it turns out that the true king of the stars would be the sun, because the sun is a star.
Yeah.
And so the prophecy was always about Alara and Enzo.
As we figured.
And everybody just thought it was Alara and Arite because, yeah. Technically, they both did die in battle. Technically, Enzo's still, like, half fucking dead, and she died and came back to life because of the whole thing. And the battle will continue to rage on until Alara wins. Tora then swears fealty to Alara and will act as a spy in the Star's Court, and that's where the book ends.
I thought we had an epilogue. That was the epilogue?
That was the epilogue. That was the epilogue. Tora coming and talking to Alara is the epilogue.
Well, as I figured, the prophecy thing was just a bunch of, oh, yes, it was actually slightly different than we thought it would be. Blah, blah, blah. It's a trick for you.
It always is.
Yeah, as always.
That's the rule of prophecies, is that they can't always be perfect.
Them being soulmates is also a cop-out for the, oh, she was supposed to fall in love with someone else thing.
Yeah. Okay, like, imagine this from my point of view. I see cool fan art of this guy. For the record, Lotus Bubbles doesn't have fan art of Enzo, as far as I can, like, I couldn't find fan art of Enzo. I just see Arite, and I see Alara. And I'm like, oh shit, that looks like a vampire dude who's insane. That seems like he would be a fun character to read about. And he was a fun character to read about, all things considered. Like,
yeah.
I hope you weren't annoyed with him through all the rest of the annoyance that you have on this book.
My main annoyance is the two main characters and the naming scheme.
Yeah, the two main characters.
Because I feel like you could have done so much more with a naming scheme than just stereotypical celestial bullshit.
You know, it could have been worse. I prefer this to tragedy names.
Well, my thing is, it's such a cop-out to just take a bunch of Greek mythology, astrology names. It's such a cop-out. You didn't have the wherewithal to come up with your own shit.
I like the idea that Alara and Enzo being the Celeste. And the Celeste normally, like, we learn about the other Celeste names and, like, the things connected to them. They don't have this Greek mythology, astrology bullshit names, for the record. They have their own names.
Which is fine. Like, but you could have done something different.
So there's an implication of world building that these stars are not true gods and they're imitating. So I kind of like it. I don't mind it. It could be worse.
I just don't like that they went, oh, I'm so clever, I'm going to just change a couple things about this one name.
I mean, I don't mind Arite's name. I don't.
Also, hilarious, one of the other things I looked up is that's also a German nickname for a quarrelsome man.
Okay, that's fun.
Like, his name was one of the most ones where it was okay. Like, does it annoy me that the main villain is also based on the name Ares, which is technically which is not actually associated with the god of war, but there is the implication there? Yeah, that annoys the shit out of me. Because I'm so tired of lazy writing, taking a god or goddess of war, and oh, that's the bad guy! Like, the only way you're getting more lazy is if you pick on Hades, even though he's literally just a bureaucratic paperwork office worker.
Yeah. Okay, remember when you said that you hoped the Aphrodite character would be a goddess of war? Mm-hmm. Even though it's Tora, not Aphrodite? This kind of implies a war aspect, considering that Tora is the star that is leading the war effort against Arite, because even though she's kind of doing a spy's job, she is funding the war effort in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. I have mixed feelings about this book, because Enzo and Alara are the worst part, and they are unfortunately the main characters. But imagine it this way, okay? Imagine that you see this fan art of this character, right? And you look at the book and you're like, well, the book doesn't sound too interesting, but this fan art sounds really interesting. So I'm going to pick up this book and read this book. And you're seeing that it's labeled as enemies to lovers. You're reading this, and there's this whole prophecy where she's supposed to fall in love with this other guy, but she's currently falling for this guy. And you're like, okay, there's a this is going to be a series.
I knew it was going to be him.
She interacts. I was on copium, dude. I was hoping that this was a fucking cop-out, because it was playing by the book for every romantasy book that's on fucking Book Talk. And I was hoping this was a cop-out, and she would, in another, like, a later book down the line, fall in love with Arite. And that all of this was just... And then the fact that they were soulmates, and the whole twist, and I'm like, great. Glad to know that I was on copium. Great.
Honestly, I would not have made it through this book.
If it wasn't for Arite, I wouldn't have made it through this book.
Which honestly tells me this is worse than you're trying to say it is.
Probably.
But also...
I don't mind the world building.
The world building's...
It's the character.
And that's the thing. Like, with a better writer who's not just doing book talk shit, it probably could have been fine. Like, it probably also wouldn't have pissed me off as much, but I get so tired of people taking mythology names, or let's in this case we're also doing Greek, so let's also take astrology shit because that's based on the Greeks and the Romans and all that fun shenanigans, because that's the main way we look at things. Let's be real here. There's a reason we call the planet Jupiter and Neptune and Uranus. I'm just so tired of people using mythology in their books. I'm so tired of it. Like, mind you, when I go and I research the names for my book, I will be like, okay, let's look up names that are sea related, because I'm naming a goddamn sea creature. Hello, but I'm not going and let's take all of this thing and make this world building that has to do with like, I like the idea of obviously the specials where these higher gods, like, that's why they're not affected by the other gods. Let's be real here. I was like, okay, why the fuck does she not have memories then? And she was just recently born. How did they choose what body they go in? That's another good question. Like, it's essentially, that's also just Zelda.
Yeah. Also, it's in a sense Hades and Persephone to a certain degree.
Yeah, but I'm just so many books are doing it now. Like, props for you for not going straight Norse like a lot of others, I guess, but apparently you do that in book 3.
I don't mind having inspiration. And I did definitely skip a lot of world building in this story, for the record. There's a lot that I skipped. Because it's a fucking dense book. Like, a lot of things happen. I just think that the main characters suck.
Yeah. Like, for example, the world building in ACOTAR is fine.
Ugh. The world building in ACOTAR feels lazy. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as J.K. Rowling's world building.
Like, but it's lazy, but that's why I say fine. It's whatever. And this, I feel like the world building's fine.
Yeah.
Like, from what you've told, I'm guessing, like, if I had read it, maybe I would be a bit more liking the world building. But here's the thing. I read Fourth Wing. The world building was fine. The main characters, I wanted to kill them myself.
Yeah.
And that, like, I'm so tired of just taking things from mythology. Because, like, I understand being inspired. Like, that Magic Cart book. That was inspired by it. But it actually did something different.
It's not making this kingdom filled with lots of sexy sex named Aphrodite.
And the sexualizing of people of color is bad enough.
Yeah.
The weird racism thing in here is a choice.
I just want more Arite. Give me more Arite. I'm sorry, I keep saying the same points. I think I'm on copium.
I'm also... You literally made her a soulmate to someone that, in my opinion, is abusive.
Yeah, I mean, again, note by note, romantic-y TikTok things, they're all, like, they're so abusive in most of those books. It's kind of disgusting.
At least Tuxedo Mask had some qualities.
Yeah. At least Carden, like, apologized. At least Carden was a
At least he
child,
fucking grew
not
up.
Yeah, at least he grew up.
By God, like, that's why I had you read me the scene. I'm like, read me the scene, read it to me now, and I'm like, oh yeah, that you're gaslighting her. It's reverse psychology. You're literally telling someone you fucking kidnapped that you're pissed they ran the fuck away, and also I'm guessing he knew what he was. He had to have some sort of inkling because otherwise there wouldn't be that big thing of what was he hiding.
Oh, no, the thing that he was hiding was the fact that Alara had walked into his dreams when he was a kid and helped him feel better, and so he's known about Alara and being his soulmate since they were, like, 10.
Okay, so he at least knew there were soulmates. But how else would there be soulmates in this universe when there's no other talk about soulmates at all?
So, remember that book that I mentioned?
Yeah.
They have an entire conversation about soulmates, because the book talks about how soulmates existed back in the day. And so there's in mythos soulmates, but that soulmates haven't existed since these creatures that once existed stopped existing. You're not wrong in your assessment. There are lots of things I skipped. They did talk about how soulmates used to exist.
Also, the fact that they're angels is a bit interesting.
Yeah, I don't like that it's angels. I really don't like that it's angels.
That's something that bugs me in English translations of other media is they say heaven a lot. And heaven has a lot of heavy connotations with religion. And I'm hoping the biblical shit stops. Please.
I'm concerned. I feel it. But I also understand that English only has so many words, and sometimes you just need to come up with a new word to describe what heaven is, and then everybody's going to complain, why don't you just say heaven? You're looking for synonyms of heaven. You're looking for a new word.
Paradise, nirvana, the ether, the welkin. You could also just say the sky. A place regarded in religious as abode of God or gods and angels, good after death, blah, 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 blah. Don't put Valhalla in here, fuck off!
I mean, it is just kind of...
I know.
Yeah.
Arcady? What the fuck is Arcady? Utopia?
It's another one of those. Yeah. See, I don't like calling heaven Utopia.
I don't either.
I don't.
An ideal rustic paradise? What the fuck? Hey, that's Greek. It would work here.
There we go. I guess the biggest problem is that this is a typical romantasy book that's really dense, really fucking dense. Skipped a lot of the details because at the end of the day, the details, this is a summary. And maybe the details made me like it more than not. 3 ? Probably should be lower. If these 2 characters weren't actually soulmates and they weren't fucking obnoxious, would this be a good story?
No.
No. Just give me Arite. Give me Marissa and Arite. Which I have... I was scrolling through Instagram to see what other fan art I could find. To see if I could find any Enzo fan art. For the record, there's barely any Enzo fan art. Most of the fan art is...
I get the feeling she's gonna go for the other guy and Enzo's gonna get pissed. I hope so anyway. Make it way more interesting.
The author posted a snippet of the 3rd book that they're currently working on. And it looks like Arite and Marissa might get together. You know how I was like, I really like Marissa and I really like Arite. My 2 favorite characters might get together. Also, apparently book 2, they switched to multiple points of view.
There's also just not enough in this about Arite for me to give a shit about him either right now.
That's fair. I liked his characterization because he felt like a villain that was being smart, but also a bloodthirsty villain. And I also just like crazy men. I like crazy men when it comes to fiction, not real life.
I like a bloodthirsty villain. I also want to know why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, they should have gone more into him, shouldn't
That's
they?
the thing. Like, they did not do enough of the villain in this for me to understand the villain in the first place. It also feels like, there's this mythology book here, and has she had no education on anything?
She's read the book since she was a kid. She's just rereading it again because she loves it so much.
And there's no history about their land at any point, about the older shit?
It's considered myths, much like we consider the Sphinx a myth. I, to some degree, understand that while they live in a magical world where things like sirens exist, they only believe what they see, in the sense. That, it's been so long since anybody's ever heard of these things actually existing that they might as well not exist.
There's people who believe the earth is flat. I don't buy that.
Good point.
There's people that believe in Mothman and Bigfoot. Did none of them consider that the mythology that they're reading, what they consider mythology, is based on things that are in their world? I mean, when you talk about the Leviathans and sea monsters and shit like that, there are explanations for it in our world.
So while they are considered fairy tales, Alara and Enzo do muse that they probably did have something that they were based off of at some point that have gone extinct.
I also don't I don't like that she abandoned her kingdom, literally heard that the king's gonna go murder her people, doesn't do anything. But also, the fact that he knew that they were soulmates to begin with, is it just another form of his manipulation?
Okay, I'm somebody who is very openly against fated mates.
Yeah.
I don't like soulmates, I don't like fated mates. I've said this before in previous episodes. It is not my jam. I do like star-crossed lovers, so I was expecting some kind of form of star-crossed lovers in this book.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
It was either going to be between her and Arite, or it was going to be between her and Enzo. And then we got fucking neither. And then I get jebaited into an actual soulmate story when I don't like soulmates. I feel jebaited. I genuinely do feel jebaited. And I'm just kind of ignoring that fact because I'm just so focused on the one character, well, the two characters, that make this story tolerable. And I need to acknowledge the fact that I am just focusing on the fact that there are two characters that do that. But also, I don't want to feel like I wasted my goddamn time. Can we end the review now? Do you have anything else before I become a broken record? I might already be a broken record.
Do you have traumatic stress from this book?
No, I do not. You know what I do have traumatic stress from? My goddamn childhood.
All right. Join us in the next episode where I will be reviewing Fate Be Changed by, I'm sorry, I'm about to butcher your name, possibly, who knows, I don't know, Farah Rokon. Roken? Rochin?
We'll get there eventually.
You look at that.
Oh, fuck if I know. That could be 3 different languages, and it changes depending on the language. If she's American, we're fucked.
She's African American.
Fuck, I'm very...
But yeah, join us in the next episode, where we will hopefully be slightly more sane.